Hey, I'm
User was
Blazing
moved out of your channel.
I'm Flamewheel, and we are going to be
User
casting
was
the
moved
Torn
out of your
Higher Dota
channel.
League Day 1 today. Community League for League veterans, or forum veterans, random people, stand-ins. Going to be a for-fun league, so don't expect TI 3 level play, but this should be extremely entertaining.
You also shouldn't expect TI 3 level play because Fender Toss is playing.
This is definitely true. Actually, the first games we're going to be casting today are between teams. Well, I guess I should say the captain's name. It's going to be Red Tooth versus Leloup. You guys might know Red Tooth from the infamous "I'm going to tack my own spire" tactics back in the Brood War days, and Loop is the guy who's all behind the LCPL, or kind of our community pasture league. Both are upstanding community figures, and I hope that they'll champion their teams to victory.
Just a moment of context about the attack my own spire strategy. Back in Brood War, there was no way to tell how far along a Zerg building was after it was a third done. So if you attacked your own spire, it would have less hit points as it was building. The Terran player who scanned you would have no idea when your Needleists are going to show up, and you can show up while his turrets are building. It's red toothing. It's the best.
So let's see if he has something similar in Dota. Perhaps he will hide his items in base and pick them up before a fight. Or maybe they're not going to use all their starting gold. Who knows? I'm looking forward to some really interesting strategies from this.
So, are we ready to sync up starting the replay?
Ready whenever you are.
You guys want to talk about the teams, the groups, and that sort of stuff first? I don't know. Or shall
We'll
we
do
go?
that during band picks, you know.
Okay.
Normally band picks would be for analysis, but let's be real here. These guys don't analyze much.
Okay, fine. Alright, I'm going to count down from 5, start on 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so NA Dota is a misnomer. That is not actually NA Dota. That is Team 4v6, sponsored by GNet TL on the Dire side, and 3 throws ahead. So GNet TL is Red Tooth's team, and 3 throws ahead is Leloup's.
Yeah, so it looks like we have a Bat Rider ban as first ban. I love Bat Rider as a ban. I love him as a hero. He's just terribly annoying.
Yeah.
I don't really know what we're going to be looking for in terms of bans, just because, like, it's one thing when you have professional level players and it's like, yeah, ban Bat, or back when Magnus had that amazing nuke, like, yeah, ban Magnus. But, you know, now we're playing with, oh, these are going back pretty fast. But now, you know, we have people who are good with specific heroes. I wonder if they've been researching into each other's, you know, going on Dota Buff and figuring out what they're good at and being like, oh, yeah, this guy's really good at, you know, whatever, Rubik. Let's ban him in the first phase for whatever reason.
So I guess what Blazing Hand's trying to get at is that we might be seeing some more pocket strategies, as one would conventionally define them. So the first 4 bans look somewhat standard. Bat Rider is a very annoying hero and no one wants to play against him. And Outworld Devourer has been the flavor of the mid lane. One of the most annoying heroes to lane against since you have no mana. But looks like these guys are going really fast with their picks. So Team 4v6 starts off with a Visage. Very strong team fighting hero. Soul Assumption is a great lane control ability and good for winning your tri-lane versus tri-lane fights.
Yeah, I think we'll see probably, you know, the Visage first pick is, it probably means that we're definitely going to see a tri-lane from them, just because in a tri-lane you have a lot more damage going on, you're going to get those Soul Assumption charges, the ability to slow and then lay down those nukes is that much stronger.
So on the other side, 3 throws ahead is picking up a Weaver, and this hero was seen very prevalently at TI3. It's always kind of been a strong hero, but I guess just the mobility and damage that Weaver can provide, and the ability to be laned in both a carry or an off-lane role, it kind of leaves your draft open for interpretation.
Yeah, that Weaver could be in, you know, he could be in the safe lane, he could be, you know, solo offlane, he could be mid. Not sure what that's going to, you know, turn out. And he's great in all of those roles.
Now a Shadow Demon as well, ooh.
Yeah, that's an unusual pick. I wonder if they're planning to put that in a tri-lane with somebody with a delayed stun.
The Shadow Demon in tri-lane versus tri-lane situations, or even a tri-lane versus one hero, his disruption has a very long range, and thus can catch people out. And when someone's disrupted, your teammates gather up around them. Once the illusions come out, it's suddenly a 5 versus 3 or 5 versus 1. And it just gives you a really big tri-lane advantage when you can pair his disruption correctly with other stuns. Now we're going back to reserve time for 4v6. They're spending a bit more time thinking about their picks, which is probably good. So on this side, though, right now, a Visage, way back when, Visage used to be the king of tri-lanes, and this is back in Dota 1, because of just simply how good Soul Assumption is. For those of you that don't know, Soul Assumption is a skill that basically whenever damage is done around Visage, Soul Assumption collects charges, and for each charge, the Soul Assumption attack will do more damage. So it's a very good finishing move, and it's a very powerful nuke, even in later stages of the game. Now we're seeing if 4v6 is going to be looking to kind of hide their hand. Oh, yes, and there's a Naga Siren. You want to talk about that, Blazing Hand?
Yeah, sure. Naga Siren, we used to see Naga Siren, in a hard carry role, using that illusion skill and really carrying and getting a lot of farm. Recently, though, we've been seeing Naga Siren as more of a support hero, something that I actually really like. I like the Naga support hero because you've got a nuke. Oh, sorry. Can you take over, Flameo?
Yeah, sure. So Naga Siren, she received a lot of nerfs that moved her kind of from carry status. She fell off the playing field for a while. Her illusions are still strong, and she's still got some decent semi-carry potential. But right now, she's being played in a mana-intensive support role. So she's got a very strong disable and ensnare that holds people in place for a very long time. A Riptide, which is an AoE nuke that reduces armor. Use her illusions to scout. But Naga is probably hands down one of the best disengaging heroes in the game. Her ultimate, Song of the Siren, puts enemies to sleep in a very large radius. So when you're sleeping, you can't be attacked and you're invulnerable, but it allows Naga's team to set up. Or if things are going poorly and a fight's going the wrong way, Naga hits the sleep button and everybody leaves. It may be seen as somewhat of an anti-fun skill. Your team is suddenly going to crush the enemy team, and the Naga hits sleep and the enemy team TB'd out. But it's a very strategic hero, and it can go really well with Visage, paired in either a defensive or an offensive tri-lane. So now we're moving through more of the bans, and these bans, I guess, are still a bit more standard. Chen and Lina are very strong supports. Because of the way Shadow Demon works, Shadow Demon can be run in a semi-dual lane as a defensive support, which frees up the jungle and allows for extra income for a team. And Lina is a great hero with a delayed stun that's oftentimes paired with Shadow Demon for dual roaming combos. Oh, I'm just talking, by the way, Blazing Hand. Whenever you're back, just let me know. And on the other side, so Team 4v6 has kind of locked down their supports at this time, so 3 Throws Ahead is going to be looking to ban out hard carries, mids, and off-lane heroes. The Darkseer is a very strong off-laner, and it pairs well with Naga Siren since you're able to use the sleep. Oh, now 3 Throws Ahead picks up a gyrocopter. And this with Shadow Demon, Team Liquid actually used to love to run this with Mike on the Shadow Demon and TC on your gyro. As soon as the disruption hits, the gyrocopter moves forward into melee range, and when gyrocopter's in melee range, his rocket barrage can really do a ton of damage. So this is a very potent setup stun, or setup disable to allow gyrocopter to get in. So expect to see gyrocopter and Shadow Demon in the same lane. And 3 Throws Ahead is doing well in the sense that, again, this lane, you can't tell if it's going to be a defensive tri-lane or an offensive tri-lane. Normally, I'm a bit averse to trying to fight Visage head-on-head, since the more damage you do to someone on Visage's team, the stronger his soul assumption becomes. But who knows, we might be seeing some macho-a-macho, mano-a-mano fights. So 4v6 now, again, is going to be looking for hard carry heroes, a mid hero, or an offlane hero. Again, a lot of these picks are going to be based more on player preference rather than metagame ability. So we might be seeing something fun, or we might be seeing something boring because Thunder Toss is drafting. Thunder Toss is a really... Oh, that is a fun pick. So that's a Slark. Slark doesn't show up too much in competitive play. It made somewhat of a splash pre-TI3. Liquid, I believe, was one of the first teams to start running it. Korak was absolutely amazing on the hero. And other teams started adopting it as well. So this may be an off-lane Slark. It could be a carry Slark, but oftentimes we see Slark paired in advantageous one-on-one laning situation. So if I had to make a guess right now, it would be a mid Slark. But basically, Slark allows for a lot of positional advantages in the mid game. And on the other hand, 3 Throws Ahead secures their middle lane pick, and that's going to be a Puck. Puck is arguably one of the stronger mid laners when you're on good ping, because phase shift allows you to dodge a lot of enemy harassment or nukes, and you have decent rune control since you can force out the waves using your 2 AoE spells. Also great in team control. Okay, no, now that's the mid hero. So 4v6 picks up a Warlock, Warlock is just an absolute beast of a team fighter. The golems comes down, it stuns everybody, you fatal bonds, which means that all of your enemies are taking extra damage, and team fights can be won pretty much just by strong golem picks.
And I would like to also note, sorry for that AFK briefly there, that I could see Slark and Naga Siren doing pretty well in a tri-lane together, just because if you're looking to lock somebody down positionally, you have Naga Siren with the net, and then you can have Slark with the pounce that won't miss in a netted opponent. So we could see a pretty strong Visage Naga Siren Slark tri-lane. There's also still the possibility of a Slark offlane, but I'm wondering if that's less likely now.
Reserve time.
Slark can also be run in an offlane sense. In the same way that Pounce allows him to initiate, it's also it's a mobility skill that allows him to jump away as well. But offlane Slark is oftentimes very risky because he's not a hero that does well from behind. Slark is a snowballing hero that kind of relies on being over-leveled and over-farmed compared to the opposing team and loves preying on weak supports. Now moving to the last picks of the game. So 3 throws ahead. It looks like at this point that Weaver's going to be going off lane, or is going to be soloing a lane with Shadow Demon, Gyrocopter, and a +1 in the tri-lane, with Puck going mid. So now we're just waiting on a final, now we're waiting on a final pick from 3 throws ahead.
Yeah, and with that Lita and that Lesh band, it's no longer obvious who we'd be pairing with the Shadow Demon, right? Normally, you'd have Shadow Demon set up with a strong delayed stun. Lina and Lesh are the obvious choices. Team 4v6 has banned both of those, so it'll be interesting to see who the other support is.
Really, though, Shadow Demon, even though he does really work well with delayed stuns, you can also pick someone with a more conventional stun, right? Disruption gives you all the time in the world you need to set up. So 3 throws ahead could choose anybody with a point-and-click stun. They could run a support Sven if they want. That's an example. Or get ready for a tether stun setup with a Wisp, though I find both of these to be unlikely. Now we're just waiting as 3 throws ahead is counting down their time. Oh, wait a minute. So Blazing Hand, I think my timer seems to be stuck on 25
My timer
seconds.
is also stuck on 25 seconds, and I'm wondering if the replay at this point was paused?
It might have been, but I don't know if you can pause during ban pick.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not
you
sure
can.
exactly what's going on.
Oh, where is it stuck at 25 for you guys? It's for me. It says bonus time ticking down for 3 throws ahead.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
There we go. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
the issue. It has the selection on the wrong stage. Because
Yeah,
it was hovering
showing-
over the puck, and it should have been in the empty slot.
Yeah, I was hovering over the puck and it was showing a ban for some reason.
Abaddon. Oh, that's a very fun pick.
And you can also see how Abaddon would be useful against that Fatal Bonds, against that slow debuff from Visage, against the net. There's a lot of things for him to use his Aphotic Shield to purge off of people this game. You also have Shadow Demon, so I mean, we're talking about 2 ways to remove debuffs.
Yeah, so 3 throws ahead has a pretty defensively oriented team. You can expect the fact that if the Shadow Demon and the Abaddon are behind the Gyrocopter, that Gyrocopter is pretty safe from harm. And on the other hand, 4v6 picks up their last pick as a Windrunner, so that's probably going to be the offlane hero, and we'll be seeing a Slark as a main carry hero, which is quite interesting.
And it'll be interesting to see how the Slark exactly, pairs off against the Gyro, who's, although he's a strong carry, Slark is not going to be backed up by quite as much team fight. Actually, no, they have the Warlock.
Oh,
This could
I
actually...
think, I don't know, if I had to choose team fight potential, I would say that 4v6 has arguably a stronger team fight, given the fact that they have both Song and Warlock. Both of those are highly disruptive ultimates, along with Windrunner, who can stay away from the scene and pick off targets at range, and then the Visage with Soul Assumption. Should we go ahead and start introducing the teams, though?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and do that?
All right, yeah, I'll let you start with, you can take your team of choice.
My replay just crashed. Please continue.
All right, so right now, I'll start with the Radiant team. So, we have got Laloop, captain of Team 3 Throws Ahead, formerly known as NA Dota, and he is going to be on the support Abaddon. Mustaju, one of our 2 Estonians on Team Liquid, is going to be handling the Shadow Demon, the other's tri-lane support. Lelouch, former StarCraft 2 pro, now turned Dota 2 lover, I think, is going to be handling the solo mid puck. And that's why is he using MDN as his name? Wait a minute. Who's Mandalore? Yeah, Mandalore is going to be handling this carry gyrocopter, and Coupones, our resident Chinese translator, troll, biggest thrower. I guess that's where the team name came from. Is going to be the solo offlane weaver, and on Team Gene 4v6, we're going to be having solo mid Warlock, and that's going to be Thunder Toss. Thunder Toss is, you guys might know him. We have Last Romantic playing the Visage. Red Tooth of Red Tooth Notoriety on the carry Slark. Offlane Windrunner played by Mizu of Mizu Moments. And then Colin, everybody's favorite 13-year-old, handling the support Naga Siren. And I especially look forward to seeing what sort of horribly misused songs that we'll be seeing.
What's your replay time?
My replay time is currently I'll be at 14:30 very soon.
Okay.
So you're still loading in, right?
No, I'm caught up.
Okay. So while I was talking about that, we had First Blood happen already. So basically, it's pretty standard, right? You have a net from Naga Siren, and that goes into the Slark pouncing, and then that leads into a Soul Assumption. And Coupones, as expected, is first to die. But, you don't know if Coupones is actually dying or if he's throwing.
So we've got, it looks like Jarrow's pretty much doing fine in the bottom lane. He's not getting First Blood. Coupones just got netted again. There's the pounce.
Oh, dear. Oh, he
Soul
barely
Assumption.
gets away with 40 HP right there. That burns his
Yeah.
salve, so...
I think I'm a little ahead of you guys. Where are you guys right now?
I'm at 15:20.
Timer at the top.
Oh, timer at the top. I'm at 150 in-game, pretty much.
Yeah, you're 10 seconds behind somehow.
How did that even happen? All
I
let's
don't
wait
know.
A little bit.
155 right now.
7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14,
I'm exactly 10 seconds
15.
behind you.
Yeah,
16.
I'm around 10 seconds behind. Do you want to pause and then tell us the time?
I can't really access the replay bar.
Oh, you're right. We'll speed up a little bit.
Nice try.
All right. Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, I'm at 2...
36,
220. I'm at
37,
okay, still ahead.
38, 39, 40.
Okay, I'm at 241 now, so we should
Close
be
enough.
relatively caught up.
Close enough.
All
I'm
right,
at 45.
all right, good enough.
correct?
So sorry
All right.
about that, guys. Let's get back into the game. Let's take a look at how the rest of the lanes are shaping up. Obviously, Coupon's not doing well. Oh, but they've actually rotated the two supports up there. And there's a disruption going on to Last Romantic. He gonna die? Last Romantic does go down. But we might have a return kill on the Shadow Demon. Okay, there's
And
just a
there
lot
goes
of kills.
Overall, I'd say that. Oh, looks like.
Uh-oh,
looks like
Lelouch's got his
Abaddon's got his
passive.
orb.
Colin is
Oh,
slowed
he's
down.
backing off.
Oh, I think he could have gotten that kill.
In the meantime, it's worth noting that despite it being a Puck versus Warlock matchup, it's going pretty evenly in terms of last hits mid. We've got Puck and Warlock both with 11 last hits, 2 denies. Now, normally you'd say that's going pretty okay, but Puck actually should be winning this. He's got the big nuke, he's got the ability to control the runes, and Puck also has more. He's got like a better attack animation, a better projectile, and more base damage than Warlock. So
I wouldn't say he has a better. I wouldn't say he has better base damage, but Warlock is pretty well known for having an amazing attack point as well as missile speed.
that's true. No front swing on that.
Yeah. So either way, though, it's a pretty even lane. I wouldn't expect any kills to happen before ultimates are picked up because both of these heroes can be relatively defensive in nature. The Warlock will heal himself if the puck goes on him, and the puck can just jaunt away since Warlock has no real slow or stun. Oh, let's go ahead.
In the meantime, it looks like we're only having one support on the Radiant side top. So they're willing to go 2 people against the 3 tri-lane, and they've got 2 bottom, Shadow Demon and Gyro. So it looks like they're running a 2-1-2 against the tri-lane strategy.
Yep. This has actually been more frequently used. If you've been watching any of the Star Ladder and We Play Cups recently, basically tri-lanes are supposed to be dual lanes in theory because if you have 3 people versus 2, you're going to win. Oh, hold that thought. you know, I was just saying that the Warlock wouldn't be getting a kill against the Puck or vice versa. Thunder Toss goes in a man fight mode against Puck, and since Puck isn't a man, Warlock wins.
No ult used by Warlock either. Looks like that fight took place under the Dire Tower.
And that's very
It took
crucial
place.
because
It took place under the Radiant Tower,
There's
and
a little
Puck
bit of a
escaped. But then the Fatal Bonds got the kill.
Yep. Oh man, there are kills going all over this map.
In theory, on the top lane, Abaddon should be able to protect Weaver by putting a Phonic Shield on him to get him out of that net and out of that pounce. But that hasn't been happening.
Yeah, I mean that was a case, I believe, of Coupon being quite far forward, and you do have to respect the power of Ensnare, as in you get caught by Ensnare, the Weaver can't even go in invisible. He's locked down for 4 seconds, and that allows Slark, Naga, and Visage to beat down the Weaver before Soul Assumption flies out. So one lane we haven't really talked about is we haven't seen how Mizu's doing on his Windrunner in bottom lane, with the Gyrocopter being played by Mandalore. He's not really CSing that well. It's 6 minutes in. He's only got 12 last hits, but you know, could just be nerves. It's a first game.
Yeah, and on top of that, he was probably initially expecting to be protected by 2 supports, and since then he's effectively been soloing against Windrunner.
That's true, and Windrunner is a very, very strong solo. Great attack animation, good nukes, hard to kill, has a stun. I mean, it's still one of my favorite 1v1 heroes to play. And it's definitely not easy with Gyrocopter, who has much shorter range.
Yes, and in the meantime, we see Couponus getting into somewhat of a fight against Colin. No net. No, never mind. It looked like...
Oh, Red 2.
Oh, no, looks like he's
Couponus is going for this. He's got the shield on him. Oh, but a
There's
pounce
the
from
pounce.
Coupon. There goes the net.
Soul
Soul
Assumption.
Assumption.
Brutal.
And Coupon is dead again. Colin
Little-
survives on less than 30 HP.
Yes, and with an impressive net from Colin. The net works through Magic Community, and I believe the net prevents you from going invisible. Is that correct?
That's correct. You can disjoint it by going invisible as the net is flying, but if the net hits you, then Weaver's Shikuchi will not provide him safety through the invisibility that he normally would observe.
That's a pretty effective and powerful lockdown. And with all these kills, Slark has already gotten his power treads, putting him slightly ahead of Gyrocopter just in terms of farm.
Yeah, but again, these two heroes have asymptotic power curves, right? So Gyrocopter is looking to farm up bigger items. He does have great teamfight presence, but he's much more useful late game than Slark is.
Yeah, he's not the kind of... Whether or not Slark will be able to compete with him has entirely to do with how Slark does in the mid game. Will Slark be able to get those kills, get those key pounces, and gank? We got a net on Weaver and a sentry down.
Oh, sentry goes
There's
down,
the
so
pounce,
even after the
Soul
net finishes,
Assumption.
and that's another Soul Assumption.
Yeah. And that combo is just... Puck arrives late to the scene. Is he going to pick up a Visage kill here? No,
Could
he's
use his
turning
Dream
around.
Coil, but he decides to back off. Oh, this could be
Is he
bad.
gonna
We've
get
got
caught?
Pounce cooling down. Puck
He's out
orbs
of
away. Lelouch's safe. Oh, but
Here
here
comes
comes...
Warlock
Oh,
from
he's
the
getting
other
chased by
direction.
Thunder Toss now. It's a little bit of a ring around the rosy. Colin's illusions are coming in as well. Here's Warlock's
Will Colin
use
use
damage
the
over
nuke?
time. Ooh, good dodge on the Riptide, but he's
Not
still
good
going
enough.
to go down. Radiant team is really getting routed. It's now 8-2 in the favor of Gene 4v6. Who, we haven't bothered to mention, encourages you to buy TL Plus. Check teamliquid.com/TL Plus or something like that for more details.
And every time you purchase TL Plus, God saves a baby from damnation in hell. So buy TL Plus for your friends. I've heard that's literally true.
Yeah, Rich has the statistics behind it, so go bug him.
Yeah, Rich really loves being bugged.
But right
So
now,
it looks
this...
like we're seeing a rotation from Abaddon. He's heading up the mid lane. And we're gonna. I doubt Weaver's really gonna be able to stay in lane without Abaddon around to purge off the net, which hasn't happened yet, but in theory should.
Yeah.
Here comes
At the
Colin
same
from
time,
the
though,
side.
the Weaver's getting to...
There's
oh,
the net.
here's the net going in, but
Disjoint.
see, that's an example of a disjoint through invisibility. The net was flying through the air, and Weaver used Takuchi, so he was able to evade it. And the sentry didn't go down until after the net, so the Dire team didn't have vision. That's a good dodge, and that Colin's currently out of mana, so Couponus, if he realizes this, will feel a lot safer in lane. Since
Yeah,
without the net
because-
to set up, he won't die.
Yeah, without the net, he
Theoretically.
can't die. That being said, there are still the sentries, and the pounce could hold him in place. So it's still dangerous, but he's definitely making the right move farming here. Yeah, so you know net is out of there.
And now Abaddon is coming back up since Coupones is probably still feeling a bit threatened on his own.
Yeah, something I think I want to talk about here is how the ward game has been playing out. We see that but the Sentinel side has one ward. Do they call it Sentinel? What are they called now?
I'm sorry, sentry wards. And I mean, they're observer wards. But
Yeah.
hold that thought, though. Weaver goes down again.
Another
And it
pounce.
looks like that Team Redtooth is looking to transition into a push with Loop on top lane to help defend it. Visage is now level 6 and has his familiars.
We've got a fight in the river. Huck with the Dream Coil gets Windrunner. Is he going to get away from Warlock?
Oh, it looks like he does. Warlock snaps the Dream Coil, and he still hasn't used his Golem yet. A big part of Warlock is, yes, you want to have the Golem at any given moment as a threat, but in the early stage of the game, it does have a long cooldown, but if you can use it to get a crucial kill, then why not? If he had dropped his Golem, then he probably would have been able to kill Lelouch. Jesus,
There's
Coupon.
the Swarm.
Oh.
And Naga Siren makes it out alive.
Up, Mizu's rotated up. Shackle shot latches. What a good one. There's a pounce and ooh.
Not getting out of that.
Yeah, Coupon's he's not having the best game. He's 1-7.
Yeah, if we're going to see somebody carrying the 3 throws ahead team, it's probably going to have to be Gyro at this point. And take a look at Gyro. We're seeing 43 creeps in 11 minutes, which isn't the most amazing. He's just sitting on Phase Boots and an Aquila at this point.
Yeah, but he's still topping the CS charts. I mean, this isn't going to be too much of a farming game. I think in the mid game, both teams are going to look to group up with whatever farm that they've gained in the early levels and try to kind of force towers and gain gold through team fights.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under siege.
A lot of posturing
Big
right
dive
now.
from Slark.
Yep, Slark is diving, but I think he should be fine. His pounce is going to be cooling down soon enough.
Yeah, one I guess, hole in the 3 throws ahead lineup.
Hold that thought. The Golem, I
There's
heard a
the
Golem
Golem.
being dropped.
Under siege.
Gyrocopter is completely safe though. Wow. That's a huge waste of the Golem by Thunder Toss. I mean, he's been doing well, so. Oh, here comes in Puck. But he's
Puck
not going to
deciding
jump.
not to go in on that orb.
I think if he had caught Colin, he would have jumped in. But now Puck's on his way back out.
There's the net.
Oh, he did not dodge the net, but he's going to orb away. Actually, that disruption. All right, so Tornhire says we're still behind by a little bit. Let's 2x for a few seconds, okay?
All right.
4, 45, 46,
All right, I'm at 47.
47, 48, 49, 50,
You and I are perfect right now.
All right. I think I'm caught up.
55, 56, 57. Good.
Good.
Carry on.
So the
Apparently
Golem's
British
almost run
internet
out
is
of
better than
duration, they're not gonna
American.
be able to
I
push
can't
down
really
that bottom
state
tower.
that stuff. Excellent. All right. So right now we're still kind of seeing this is a very prolonged laning phase, right? Like Coupones. Well, okay, I was gonna say that Coupones hasn't left the top lane, but he definitely has because deaths.
Dire's bottom tower is
Oh,
under
he's
siege.
pounced again. Here come the birds. There's stun 1. There's stun 2. He's got a time lapse, but he can't. He doesn't use it.
Complete lockdown. And we'll notice that after the initial net, Abaddon did purge it off of the Weaver, but he wasn't able to purge off, of course, the Pounce because he had already used the purge.
I'm actually not 100% sure how the pounce interaction is because it's not as traditional stun, right? You can move around on the pounce, but when you're pounced and you're leashed, so you can only move a certain distance around that leash. So it might be that it's not something that can be purged, but that's something to look up for later. Might be an
Yeah.
interesting interaction.
And I guess a lot of what we're seeing here is people staying in their lanes for a long period of time. Normally, I'd say this is the kind of thing that would favor Gyrocopter, who's currently being chased down by Warlock.
But he's completely being bullied off the lane right now. He's still at the top of the CS charts, but Gene 4v6 is completely ahead in kills. Though if you remove the coupon factor, then the game looks a lot better for 4v6. But I cannot anticipate Coupon having any sort of high impact on this game. He's going to have to be carried by his teammates.
I mean, it's 15 minutes in and he still doesn't have boots. I think it's safe to say that Weaver has basically lost his lane. There's a possibility he could farm and get back into it, but he's not going to have the sort of mid-game impact with the ganks and the auto attacks that you'd expect a Weaver to.
Yeah, and unfortunately as well, Lelouch hasn't been doing too well. He's got to kill Sue's 2 deaths. That early death really hurt him. Oh, and that deny is not going to help either. But he's not even. It's 15 minutes in, and he's still about 1,000 gold away from his blink dagger. So they're not going to. Oh, hold that thought. Here's a dream coil. There's a silence, and that's a kill. That's a very much needed kill. Warlock was also a level 11, and that gives Puck a lot of experience and a level 2 Dream Coil when he decides to level it up.
And he's now within a few hundred gold of his Blink Dagger. So it's imaginable he could get his Blink Dagger in time for when the team fights happen.
Yep. So right now, if we're trying to look at a game, every time I want to talk about something, someone tries
There's
to
a
get
pounce.
One thing I would like to see Visage do better. I wish Last Romantic would use his birds better, but hold the thought. There's
a
Coupon.
pounce.
Oh, I think he's fine. Stick charges keep him alive.
Good banish from Mustaju.
Mustaju has had some pretty decent disruptions, but now he pays the price. And that's an issue with Shadow Demon, right? Once you use your disruption, you are pretty vulnerable. You're a slow hero, and you don't have any other defensive abilities once disruption is down. So Red Tooth, noticing this, was able to catch out the Shadow Demon and just kind of whack him down.
And it looks like Red Tooth has an Oblivion Staff, which makes me think he's going for a Orchid.
Yep, Orchid on Slark is actually quite good. So Slark has really good natural HP regen because of his ultimate, but if you look at him right now, what is he lacking on?
We got Slark moving in for a gank on Gyrocopter. Hiding in the trees there. There's no ward from the Sentinel side.
Coupon S is around, but again, I don't know how much Coupon can help. They're trying to use this tower as bait. Oh,
There's the
here
pounce.
comes the TPs. Here comes the shackle, and I expect to see a rock. Drop the rock. Thunder Toss, what are you doing?
There's no rock. Where's the rock?
That rock came very late.
Gyro ult.
There's the disruption again, but now he's going to be surrounded, and
Big heal
Gyro
from
goes
Abaddon.
down.
Yeah, no help
Abaddon's
for
ultimate is being activated, and just as with any other good Abaddon, they ignore him. But now he's shackled, and should be brought down by Soul Assumption, but not before Naga goes down. And that's a 3-man Dream Coil. Wow, this fight's turning around quite well. What started out bad for NA Dota is now getting turned around. They are... Wow, they've got a 4-for-1. Only Slark makes it out alive. Or 4-for-3, really.
But Slark is the one that they really needed to kill in that situation.
Yeah, Slark
is
quite
running
ahead
away.
in this game.
Just on the strength of Slark, I'd say that that was an amazing fight. That was a fight that changed this game from, being way behind. It's the kind of fight that gives you morale. When you're losing a game of Dota, it's hard to believe in yourself. And when you win a fight like that, it gives you a second chance. Oh, and it looks like...
Hold on, I have to take a phone call. I'll let you go for a second, okay?
So we've got the gyro stun on Slark. There's the ult, and Slark goes down. So that was an overextension by Slark. You can wipe out the enemy team, but eventually they're going to come back up, and you got to get out of the jungle. And that's what I was saying. When you're way behind in a Dota game, it's easy to lose sight of hope, and people start playing poorly. I mean, there aren't even any wards on the Radiant side right now. Actually, there's a ward just placed now. And winning a team fight, or even going even on a team fight, is the kind of thing that gives you some hope. It looks like Gyro is building for a Manta, going for carrying builds as opposed to a mid-game build with drums. And at the same time, we're seeing Naga sort of building as a support, completing that, 18-minute magic wand, pretty solid. I'll be interested to see how the defense of this top tower goes. We've got 3 heroes coming in there just against Lelouch on the Puck. Gyro gets pounced. There's the Dark Pact. And that's a good banish from Shadow Demon. They're not going to be able to kill Slark, but they save their carry. In the meantime, it doesn't look like the push at the top lane for Sentinel is going to be stopped.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
An attempted money shot by Mizu there. No overextension from Puck. So, Gyro is definitely the top CS with 78 CS at this moment. And although he's been having a good time farming since the laning phase started to break down, since people stopped ganking him and sitting on him, we're still taking a look at a Slark who's ahead in terms of gold per minute. We got Slark with 351 gold per minute, and the only people who are even coming close are Puck with 300 and Jarrow with 300. That being said, we got Puck with the Blink Dagger, Jarrow's got his Yasha. This is the time when you can start to see a little bit of a comeback from TTA, 3 throws ahead.
Oh, and now they're the ones diving. Another 2-man Dream Coil. Sorry, I just came back. Here's the call down. Why? Thundertoss really doesn't like dropping his rocks.
And this would be a great place for a rock.
And there
But
we
still no
go.
rock.
That's a 3-man rock. But see, it doesn't work if you drop the rock after your teammate's already dead and their nukes are expended. The whole point of
And-
dropping rocks is that you can disrupt the enemy, get your fatal bonds up, and then use your nukes to overwhelm the fight.
And you want to drop the rock while Visage is still up, so he can use that soul assumption.
Yep. Red Tooth misses a leap, and Leloup
Good dodge
activates
by
his
Thunder
ultimate.
Toss, but not good enough.
And now Thunder Toss goes down as well. But Lelouch might pay with this. His life. Oh no, there's a blink. And
Coupon
somehow that
still in
ends
the
up killing
fight.
Coupon.
Looks
So-
like Lelouch is pounced.
And only Mustaju makes it out alive. So actually, that, for some reason, after a successful early engagement where they picked off 2 people and the Warlock Golem didn't do too much, 3 throws ahead still ends up keeping true to their namesake and throwing the fight.
Yeah, and I think what that had to do with, as much as anything else, was standing and fighting the Golem and
Yeah.
waiting for the enemy's heroes to come back up and teleport back in.
I guess they pulled a call in right there. Remember, kids, don't fight golems. Run away from them if you can.
In the meantime, Slark has completed his Orchid, and as a 21-minute Orchid, I mean, that makes him pretty dangerous. Like, Puck will no longer be able to phase shift against that, used against Weaver. It's not like Weaver has a Lincoln Sphere. He's not going to be able to get away if he gets Orchided.
Even the Gyro has only 900 HP, right? If you leash him, he can't even rocket barrage you with Orchid on. And Gyro does not like people being up in his face. He's an old man in a helicopter, and he's probably not as virile as he used to be.
And we see Jarrow stacking some jungle camps. I think we are going to try to see an attempt for 3 goes ahead to just protect that Jarrow until he gets huge. But we're not... It's a real question whether they're going to be able to stop the Slark at this point with that Orchid.
Yeah, if Red Tooth plays it right, he should be able to pressure the entire map by himself. One thing that we haven't really talked about is how Slark's ultimate allows him... Oh, what a net, but that's going to allow Lelouch to just blink. I'll get back to Slark. It seems like we might have a fight breaking
Got a
out.
potential to. There's the Swarm. Yeah, I mean, Slark's ultimate, which gives him the huge HP regen, combined with the huge mana regen of Orchid. There's a Pounce, Dark Pact, and he's all over Weaver.
Oh, this would be such a good point. That is a 4-man Dream Coil. Red Tooth is
That is brutal.
Red Tooth is dead.
Jarrow ult, nobody can move out of that.
Colin just had a terrible song, and that's number 1.
What a song.
What a
That's
song.
Like, I see songs like that in pubs, man. Like, it's like, oh, we're finally landing our nukes song.
We land our nukes when the enemy... Here's Coupon, he's going back in. He's trying to kill LR, but instead he's going to die.
Good din on Abaddon.
Lelouch has really picked up his game, though. After feeding away that first death in mid lane, really picked it back up. He's now
Yeah,
8-4, and I think he's definitely carrying his team at the
Yeah,
moment.
and it looks like he's going to catch that Windrunner.
Ooh, Mizu!
Triple homicide.
Did you mean to elude me?
Yeah, they
That's
say
sad.
that once Puck has a Blink Dagger, he only dies when he chooses to die.
Yep, and sadly, Colin, the progenitor of the bad song, is the only one who gets away. I'm pretty sure 4v6 is not happy with him right now.
Yeah, I can pretty much imagine what happened in that team fight. Naga Siren started the song, Colin was singing, and this was, in the middle, just as the team fight starts to turn around, and just everybody's screaming at him to stop singing, so it stops immediately. But that was a time when, if they had those extra couple seconds of damage dealing, that would have been amazing. Instead, they had a song. On the other hand, even with that team fight, still think Red Tooth can run away with this. He got a Slark, he's got an Orchid.
So the Slark
I mean-
died very early at the beginning of the fight. He's going to be level 16 soon, and, well, is he the highest? No, he's not even the highest. Wow, the Puck, oh yeah. After Lelouch got a triple kill, Slark was the highest level before that, but the Puck has really jumped ahead in terms of
Radiant's
experience.
bottom tower is under
So we
siege.
haven't even really looked at an overall gold graph, have we?
Radiant's
Or
bottom
experience
tower
graph.
has fallen.
It's been
Yeah, if we
too
take-
topsy-turvy. But if we take
yeah,
a
we
look,
take a look at
the Dire team is still ahead. So 4v6 is up by about 1,500 in experience, which at this point is very negligible, and about 3,000 in gold. So neither of these numbers are insurmountable. So we could say that this game is far from decided, given the recent fights.
Yeah, and there's Puck building a Dagon, which I'm actually questioning that choice. I'm not sure that I would have done the same as Puck. I feel like, though, you know, who knows? I'm not any good at Dota. That an extra way to lock somebody down. Oh, big
Hold that
dream
thought.
coil.
These dream coils. Drop the rock, Thunder Toss.
Drop
Thunder
the
Toss
rock!
could have landed another 4-man rock. Oh, geez,
There's
this
the call
is.
down.
There's 2 down
And
already.
there goes Jean. Or, Visage.
Mizu's gonna make it out, but whew, that I really have to question. Thunder Toss, he could have dropped the rock and hit 4 people. Instead, he walks away slowly, and Warlock's an old man, so he can't get away from a dragon, a guy in a helicopter, and a bug.
Yeah, and really, a rock in that situation, big link.
Oh, but all right. Nice pounce from Red Tooth helps take out the gyro, and there are still 4 members of 3 throws ahead alive though, and they look like they want to group up and continue pressuring the tower. But with Warlock respawning and he still has his rock, they're gonna have to back off. They simply cannot risk fighting that without their own big ultimates online and without the gyrocopter.
I think a lot of Gene 4v6's team fight comes from that Warlock ult. And dropping that rock in a team fight, even if the rock's only going to hit 3 people, if there's a fight going on, you gotta drop that rock.
But like, not even just about the number of people you hit, right? The rock is just a gigantic disruptive element. A lot of 3 throws ahead is based on they have 2 aspects, right? They want to protect their gyro, and Abaddon and Gab Demon are great for that. And they want to pick off targets. So the blinking Puck with a Dagon, the Weaver that can kind of pick off people on the back line and chase really well. But if you're able to knock them out of their stride for just even a second or 2, and once that golem gets on the field, it is not easy to bring down, since nobody on 3 throws ahead has a diffusal blade.
Yeah, and that golem on the top of that, I mean, it's dealing immolate damage, it's just smacking people. You combine that with Fatal Bonds, and you've got a huge amount of damage output from that Warlock.
Exactly, and it seems Thunder Toss is... He's not that close to his Aghanims, but once he gets his Aghanims, the golems will be even more devastating.
In the meantime, it looks like Gyro is building towards an MKB with Javelin first.
An interesting choice. I mean, the pierce
almost had
damage you
enough
get
for
from
a
Javelin
damage,
is...
didn't he?
It's good, but it only hits the main target. And generally when you try to go for MKB, you would go for the Monkey King bar. But really though, I normally would question the fact that Mandalore's not getting a BKB, but it's kind of okay in this game because so on the Gene team, right? There's a Naga Siren, and when you BKB, the Naga sleeps, and you're the only one left alive or awake, and then she hits you with a net, and suddenly you are BKB'd, but you're still 1v5, and you will probably die. Oh.
Honestly, I wouldn't really worry about that given how that Naga's been singing so far.
Yeah, that's true.
So it looks like a long siege on the secondary tower middle. Coupon is going in with his Shikuchi.
And then he gets shackled, but that should be able to... Wait, remove it!
There's the net.
Oh, he barely gets
Gyro.
away. And there's a disruption as well.
Where's the rock?
There's the rock. The rock hits a lot of people. Time lapse is already down. Musaju gets taken out by the golem. On the other side, the gyro and Visage are retreating away. They're both on so low life. If the Lelouch wants to turn around back to come back in,
Big pounce.
Mandalore chased too far, and Last Romantic gets the puck as well and walks away on 60 HP.
And Mizu, he goes down. Couldn't teleport. Oh, he got out of that?
Yeah, well, no. So Coupon, it's worth noting that that's a big loss for 3 throws ahead, right? They lost 4 heroes and the Weaver bot back, so that's going to set them back quite far.
Right. And on top of that, they're going to take some damage to the secondary tower since the golem's up and ready to start smacking it.
Golems are great tanks for towers. If you put the heal on it, it can soak up a lot of damage. And Coupon really has to be careful. If he gets caught by an Orchid, yeah, there's a disruption, but now it's been used. So if he gets caught, he's going to be in some serious trouble after a pounce lands. But it looks like that Gene's team is backing up. Oh, wait, that's a courier. Oh, Coupon didn't see it. Normally, I think he would have tried to go for it.
Yeah,
and there's the Orchid. There's a Sentry Ward already down. There's a disruption, though. That should be enough to save his life. And he got the time lapse off. Musaju has really been saving his teammates. I've given props for
all
that.
game. Yeah, I mean, if we were going to say how many deaths have been averted just from those disruptions from Mustaju. At least like 4 so far.
So basically, we'd be saying that Kuponis would have 15 deaths and not 11. Yep, this is part of our writing team, guys. He knows a lot about Chinese Dota, and this is how Chinese people play, apparently.
So it looks like Puck's getting an Ogre Club. I'm guessing he's going to be making that into a BKB.
Dyer's middle
A
tower
BKB
is
on
being
Puck,
attacked.
it's not the worst because you can still phase shift the net. You can still phase shift nets, and it really helps you against everything but the Warlock Golem. But ooh, Coupon, come on. I can't even talk for 5 seconds without you dying. Mandalore is locked down, and despite the best efforts, oh,
He
that
only
double
got the
shackle
Slark
as
with
well.
the Dream Coil. And Slark's fresh BKB used to pick up a couple of kills there. Big soul assumption on the ulting Abaddon. The statue's been chased into a corner.
He almost
And
gets
looks like
out.
Lelouch is
but
going to get locked
that's
down.
another turnaround. This game has really gotten out of control in the last 5 or so minutes. Went from being a relatively even game to, well, obviously if we check the golden experience, it's going to go downwards, but now we're looking at about a 7,500 gold lead and about the same in experience for 4v6, and they're grouping up to push mid. And this
another thing
tower
we
should
gotta
go
talk
down
about-
now.
Another thing we got to talk about with Slark is, with that Orchid, I mean, normally you say, oh, Puck only dies when he wants to die, but not against an Orchid. Against an Orchid, Puck can die for being Orchid.
And that's why I think Lelouch is going for BKB, because if he gets Orchided and he dies, his team doesn't really have much lockdown. The disruption has been used to save the gyrocopter, and Aphotic Shield, as amazing of a spell it is, it doesn't help you kill enemies. So they really need that Puck to stay alive and doing damage with his spells causing chaos.
And here's 3 throws ahead trying to stall the extra 15 seconds until the Puck comes back up. What a
but
rock.
wow, that gyro instantly melts.
That Soul Assumption combined with that rock, you drop the rock and so much damage is done, Soul Assumption hits max charges.
Red Tooth is not using one of his golems.
No, he is not.
He's just contemplating existence.
Oh, there it goes.
Alright, and there's a BKB on the Slark. Is he gonna re-engage? He misses his
Big
pounce on the
green.
Weaver. Coupon S is running. He's orchiding. Oh. This
The
is
Orchid
not
on
looking
Shadow
good.
Demon was actually a good move.
The Weaver is also dead as well. He gets netted after
There's
time
the
lapsing.
net.
Lelouch picks up a kill on the back end on Mizu, but that's just kind of a nicety at this point.
Collateral
Lelouch's ultimate
damage.
is up, and it looks like he's gonna get healed back to full because Dyer decides to hit him. But that tier 3 tower is nearly dead.
It doesn't look like there's going to be a chance for Radiant to really defend this tower meaningfully.
Well, Gyro's back alive, but at this point, Gyro has only a 1200 HP. He died instantly when that rock came down. The rock hit, a power shot went through, and a soul assumption, and he virtually went from full to 0. So right now, Gyrocopter is not having the sort of impact that you would want to have on a carry hero 33 minutes into the game.
Right, and we're talking about soul assumptions that are dealing, 400 damage each. Gyrocopter doesn't have a BKB. He doesn't have any items that increase his strength. I guess the Aquila increases his strength by 3, and so does the Magic Wand.
But those are kind of afterthoughts. That's not what you
Yeah,
would
and he
get them
doesn't
for.
even really have damage up. He has a Yasha, but it's not a Manta. He has a Javelin. He doesn't have the items it would really take for us to say Gyro can hold his team together at this point. The mech from Abaddon has been used several times in teamfights. It's made a difference. I think this is a mistake from 3 throws ahead trying to defend this tower here when they could be defending on the high ground.
Yeah, defending the tier 2, you're gonna give 4v6 hold that thought again. Another fight's breaking out. Coupon S is orchided,
Lush coming in from behind.
gets the time lapse off. That's a nice call down. And the rock isn't available. But it seems like at the end of it, only Lelouch dies.
Lelouch getting a little bit aggressive there. He still doesn't have that BKB, and blinking in from behind like that, or into the back like that was, it would have been a big play if it worked out.
Yep, especially since Slark has the BKB now. Oh, Mustaju is dead. Poor Mustaju, though he's doing very well in his disruption. If you take a look at him, he's only level 9. He doesn't have a single point into Shadow Poison as well, so he has virtually no offensive damage. He's kind of just a warm body, or I should just say, a dead body at this point. Couponus gets shackled again, Power Shot flies through, Soul Assumption's down, and the Riptide, well, I don't know how Thunder Toss got that kill, but he did.
Most of the wards on the Radiant side have been placed by Mustaju. He's playing a very position 4 Shadow Demon.
Well, I would say position 5 then,
Oh,
considering
position
that
5,
he
yes.
is
There's
very,
5
very
heroes
low
on each
level.
side in Dota. And so
But
he would
so-
be the 5th one.
It should be worth noting that it's generally not advisable to completely level up Disruption. In a lot of cases, it's good, since 3 throws ahead is lacking in kind of they're lacking in stuns. A pseudo stun like this, it's nice to level up Disruption. But Shadow Poison is a very, very good skill. Red Tooth goes in, he's on Mustaju again, Mustaju silenced, and goes down. Now he's chasing on Mandalore. The net hits him. Mandalore,
And
oh,
doesn't
the
look like
rock.
Mandalore's getting out of that.
I think we can safely say this game is probably coming to an end soon. Dire team isn't even focusing on the racks, they're more content with chasing for kills.
And if I had to say it, the 2 big factors I think that led to there's going to be 2 big factors that led to the win here. The first would be Slark just getting lots of kills early on top. They picked good, like Gene 4v6 picked excellent heroes for shutting down that Weaver.
Yep.
The net from Naga Siren, the pounce,
pounce.
the fact that they always had sentries. There was never a time where they were like, oh, we can't get Weaver because he's invisible. There was never a time where, there wasn't an opportunity for that Slark to get the kills, to get the ability to run away with the game. And then I'd say the other thing was, I'd say it's just that Gyro didn't get the farm he needed to get bottom.
No, he
The
didn't.
decision-
He thought he would be supported, but with Coupon doing so poorly on top lane, the supports had to kind of shift their attention between protecting Gyro and going to top lane to try to help Coupon stay alive. And that allowed Mizu on a solo lane Windrunner. If the supports had been down there, he probably would have gotten nothing. But 1v1, a Windrunner is quite strong against a Gyrocopter, and Mizu was pretty effectively able to hamper Mandalore's farm, it seems.
Yeah, and just even with the nukes and being able to push the lane, being able to hit Gyro with those nukes and shut down his farm, it wasn't even that Gyro didn't have any items, but just that his items couldn't match up. And
Yeah. The Slark,
when that
Slark ended
happens-
up getting too fat, too far ahead. The Orchid destroyed things, and Gyro didn't have any damage, didn't have any survivability, and frankly, wasn't able to contribute outside of his spells too much.
Yeah, and I think things could have gone a different way. There was a brief period of time where we saw Puck making some big plays, getting some amazing dream coils off,
Yeah,
but that will only take you so far. You need something to follow that up.
so that was the game one. I mean, really though, I do also have to point out that in the end, 4v6's draft was kind of better, right? I talked about it briefly, but Team 3 Throws Ahead didn't really have any stuns. They had, what do they have? They have Dream Coil, which is not as much of a stun as kind of a positional limiting factor, and then they had Disruption, and the Homing Missile, which is also a very unreliable stun. So they had really no way of preventing Gene 4v6 from kind of disengaging, especially since they had a Song. Though, I think the one time we saw a Song used, it didn't end that well.
Yeah, the second support they picked was Abaddon, and I feel like if Abaddon had been, Alina was banned obviously, but if Abaddon had been someone with a stun, they had picked a support Sven, for example, or even, I don't know, like an Ogre Magi, but anybody with the ability to stop somebody from moving would have been pretty big.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then the 2 supports who would be rotating, you'd have Shadow Demon and someone with a stun, as opposed to Shadow Demon and Abaddon. Shadow Demon's Banish or Disrupt is excellent, but it won't actually.
It doesn't actually
lock
get kills on
somebody
its
down.
own, basically.
Yeah, it's a setup. It's got great range, and it's a setup.
Yep. So, do you guys want to start getting into the second game at this point? Do you want to Firebolt? You round? I think we killed the British man.
I think we did.
Already in the next game. I am 17 seconds in.
Okay, so I will pause at replay counter 17 seconds then.
Okay.
I am also paused at replay counter 17 seconds.
Right, you want to give us a countdown, Firebolt?
Are you both already at 17?
Yep.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so now we are starting game 2 of the Torn Higher Dota League between teams Gene 4v6, captained by, well, Red Tooth, and then not actually NA Dota, but 3 Throws Ahead, captained by Laloop. The first game didn't go so well for 3 Throws Ahead. They started off poorly, Coupon had a lot of deaths, and the Gyrocopter didn't get the farm he needed. They almost made a comeback in the mid-game, but 4v6's team fight and items and Superfed Slark kind of propelled them to a snowballing victory.
And I do think that we saw a transition from Warlock being sort of stingy and careful with his ults to Warlock ulting basically anytime he could catch 2 or more people under it. And I think
that's so important.
Yeah, that ult, coupled with the fact that 3 Throws Ahead did not have serious stuns or lockdown, in the same sort of sense that you might get with the Windrunner Shackle or the Net or the Tether. Basically, everybody had some way of shutting people down.
Yep.
On Team 46.
At the point of Windrunner Shackles, Mizu had some amazing shackles on his Windrunner, catching out the Weaver multiple times, getting 2 hero shackles, catching fleeing people. He was able to set up a lot more kills with that than I would have expected. Because shackle shot's not the easiest stun to use.
Yeah, and when I go into pub games as a terrible, you know how there's very high, and medium MMR? I play in low. And when I'm there in low, I just always... It's true. There's a secret, they obviously don't tell you, but obviously there's a special section for people like me. I just draft somebody with a stun. When I'm playing with 5 friends, I'm like, let's just all pick people with stuns. And
picking stuns is kind of a good way to win, because if your enemy can't hit you and you're hitting them, and neither of you have farm, the person with the stun wins.
So why don't we talk a bit about the bans?
Yeah, sure. So the bans, I'll move through them really fast since we're already into the picks, but they're pretty standard again. We're seeing the Batrider and Obsidian, or the Outworld Devourer, both bans from last game banned out. And 3 Throws Ahead, respecting the soul assumption this time, has banned out the Visage, which I think is a smart idea. 4v6 is banning the Chen as well. I don't know if 3 Throws Ahead has a Chen player, because normally I wouldn't merit Chen being a first round ban, but perhaps they know that maybe, say, Boostaju is really good at Chen, and he taught Puppy how to play Chen.
Yeah, that might actually be true. I'm also wondering if maybe there's some kind of secret tech they're going to do where it's like, yeah, Chen will counter our super awesome strategy.
Ooh, that is a nasty pickup. So 4v6 picks up Nyx Assassin, who is one of the most annoying heroes in the game, but 3 Throws Ahead this time gets their Lina, and with a setup disable again. Bane, what a great hero. Sets up with a sleep, you wait a couple seconds to get surrounded, Lina casts her LSA, then
yeah, because you can break the sleep with the LSA and then just follow it up with whatever other nukes and auto attacks you have.
And between Bane and Lina, that's a lot of nuking damage.
Yeah, so I think we've got, assuming that those are the 2 tri-lane pieces, 3 Throws Ahead has definitely tipped their hand in terms of what they're going to be running with.
But again, you don't know if it's going to be an offensive or a defensive tri-lane. Bane is one of the best heroes for catching out opposing solo offlaners, but at the same time, he can be used to set up an offensive tri-lane, since both he and Lina are ranged heroes. So, on the other hand, though, it seems like Team 4v6 has picked up their Rubik, which is something that was banned last game. And I wonder who we'll be seeing on this Rubik, because I think Mizu likes playing it, and you guys may not know that Colin is the best Rubik player against Warlock Golems, but maybe we'll be seeing some famous Colin Rubik. But that's most likely going to be played in the support role.
Yeah, and looks like we're seeing a Gyro ban from Team 4v6 and then a Darkseer ban from 3 Throws Ahead. And I'm not sure I know why the Gyro ban, actually. Are they thinking maybe a Gyro Bane Lina tri-lane?
That would be... it would be a pretty strong tri-lane, right? It'd be 3 range heroes, a ton of nuking damage, and enough defensive ability to keep the Gyro alive.
I also do really like this Rubik pickup. I think that Rubik against either Bane or Lina, you've got a lot of spells to take.
Bane's Grip must be one of the easiest spells in the game to steal, and if you can steal Laguna Blade, then you've got a lightning using Rubik.
Reserve time.
I really like Gene 4v6's bans this round, because the Gyrocopter and the Alchemist are both heroes that would work well in a tri-lane with Bane and Lina. Alchemist's Unstable Concoction, you can charge it for the full duration without fear of the opponent running away, since Bane's sleep is obnoxiously long, and that would allow him to get a very brutal and stun off, and then you can couple that with LSA, and anybody is going to die.
Yeah, and it looks like we're seeing a Lifestealer pick from 3 Throws Ahead. I really like Lifestealer as a carry. He's amazing. I don't know what exactly his synergy is going to be with Bane and Lina, but that magic immunity...
Wait a second, sorry. You're seeing Lifestealer get picked already?
Yeah, you're far ahead, yo.
Am I
I'm
ahead?
far
Oh,
behind. I'm far behind.
Okay, hold on. Let's take a time. I am at 30 seconds in the current pick phase with time remaining for 4v6.
28, 27.
So,
Live
let's
Seer
see,
just
play
got
time.
Okay,
picked.
so it seems like you're about 10 seconds ahead of us, Blazing Hands. Pause and wait.
All right, I'm paused at replay time 7:30.
That doesn't work for me. You have to go with.
7:30. Okay.
You have to go
You're
down
pretty
with
far ahead.
countdown.
I'll go ahead and talk until then. So,
Okay.
try getting back to replay time 6:30 then, okay?
All right.
Okay, so the Life Stealer is, I don't know if there's going to be a carry Life Stealer in a safe lane or an off lane Life Stealer. It could be either, but normally Life Stealer now has issues trying to get in with open wounds, but with Bane and Lina to set up stuns, the Life Stealer can simply walk in and get that measly 200 range off. So that could be the tri-lane completed, or it could be an off-lane Life Stealer. But that might be dangerous considering Nyx Assassin as a support might just mono burn him enough so he can't rage away. So, again, this draft is open for interpretation. The 4v6 now, the Nyx could be played as a support, it could be played as a mid. We don't know. The Rubik will most likely be a support, and that is your carry. I think we all hate Phantom Lancer.
I have a special place in my heart for back when ThDL was the fast all-kick combo that everybody would do.
Yep. You know, Mr. Hoon and I started doing that before it actually became cool, as in...
Oh, I'm sure.
No, we were actually doing that. We were just like, dude, I want infinite mana. Like, this is before Alliance started doing it, so they probably got it from us. Oh, that is a fun pick. I love seeing Timbersaw in games, and Timbersaw actually does surprisingly well against Phantom Lancer. When you reduce his stats, you reduce his, he gets so much agility that you take away 15% of it with Whirling Death. It also really weakens his illusions as well. And Timbersaw doesn't care if your illusions are hitting him, because reactive armor is quite good.
And also, everything Timbersaw does, he does in an area of effect.
Yep. So we don't know, is this going to be a mid Timbersaw, or is it going to be an offlane Timbersaw? It's hard to say, but I can expect him to have some impact. Right, 4v6 picks up the Weaver this time. So this looks like it's going to be an offlane Weaver.
Wait, which, we could see the Nyx as a tri-lane piece, we could see the Nyx as a mid-Nyx.
Yep.
I suspect we're going to see him as a mid-Nyx. I feel like he needs the sort of farm and items to take off. Like, I think he needs a certain amount of early-on experience, which makes him... Although he's an okay tri-lane piece, he does best in mid.
At the same time, though, I don't think Nyx would have the best time going up against Timbersaw if Timbersaw goes mid. But with Nyx,
Yeah.
It's not about winning your lane, it's about getting to level 6. Of course,
On the other hand, like, you know, Timbersaw isn't an intelligence hero. He's not going to be able to use his mana burn to great effect in the lane.
well, I mean, Timbersaw has a very high starting intelligence, though, so it's not the fact that he's an intelligence hero, he just has a good starting int, and that's still going to do a good amount of damage. But it seems that 3 throws ahead feels like the 4v6 is going to put Nyx on support because they've banned out Quap. And, I mean, at this point, there's still a host of mid-lane heroes that 4v6 could pick up if they wanted to. But let's see. So, right now, 4v6 is either missing a mid or another support, and 3 throws ahead is going to be missing a mid or an offlaner, or even another carry hero if they want to run Lifestealer offlane. Now we're just waiting for this final ban. One thing I do want to see, though, in this game is I want to see infested Timbersaw bombs with Lifestealer. Team Liquid used that against Alliance in one of their games. It didn't work out too well because Alliance was well prepared, but the potential of it is scary. You've got a Tiny with 1200 HP and really, really high move speed, and then suddenly a Timbersaw comes out of nowhere with a Lifestealer and you're dead. It takes all of 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how that works out. At the same time, I'm just taking a look at Team 4v6, and I realize the reason it kind of looks like a pub lineup is they have 3 invisibility heroes. And I'm wondering if the fact that both Phantom Lancer and Weaver escape by going invisible, and that Nyx, you know, he likes to use his vendetta, go invisible, and show up next to somebody and kill him. Like, I wonder if 3 throws ahead is just going to be prepared for that. That, you know, they got a lot of eggs in one basket, just in terms of, you know, Phantom Lancer, I guess he's not really an invisibility hero, but his escape mechanism is going invisible.
Yep. Oh, and is that a Death Prophet versus Storm Spirit mid? This is not a matchup we see that often, but, you know, I want to say I normally don't like Death Prophet, but that's actually not that bad, because Death Prophet is a fast hero and does fairly well against Lifestealer with her ghosts, and she can silence the Storm Spirit and the Timbersaw for very long periods of time.
Okay, guys, just to resync everything up, why don't you guys go slightly ahead and I'll count down, and you guys forward when you're at the same spot. So I'm going to use the clock in the top. 10,
Okay.
9, 8,
Wait,
7.
hold on.
I understand.
I'm going to
Alright,
count
I'm
down.
going to pause at 110 in game.
I'm a bit. I'm ahead than that. I'm ahead. I'm at 1 minute now. 59, 58, 57,
Okay.
56,
Alright, I'm going to go
55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50,
Alright,
49.
I'm synced with you.
Blazing hand. All right, cool. Carry on.
Okay. So why don't
so
we go
one thing
ahead and introduce the teams in the little bit amount of time we have left?
Sounds good.
So,
So-
go ahead. You do it this time. You go first.
All right. I actually don't know everybody's name because some of them are acronyms. But on Team 4v6, sponsored by Gene, of course, we've got Thunder Toss on the Death Prophet, Last Romantic on Nyx Assassin, Mizu on Phantom Lancer. We've got Red Tooth taking Weaver to the off lane, I think. Why is
Yep.
Colin down there? And we've got Colin and Rubik walking up to the
Oh
bottom
man,
lane
Colin
alone
Rubik.
against the entire team. Oh no, I'm totally wrong. Orange and brown, I'm colorblind.
Let's get this
Fuck, I'm so
farce
bad.
over with.
It's okay.
I mean, fiddlesticks.
And
Do your
then
thing.
on Team 3 Throws Ahead, we have Leloup on support Lina in the tri-lane. We have Mustaju pairing off as the other support. Lelouch is going to be going mid on the solo Storm Spirit against Death Prophet. Mandalore is going to be taking the role of the carry Lifestealer, and Kuponis, may he die less or rest in peace less, is going to be the solo off-lane Timbersaw. So let's see how this starts. We have an immediate level 1 smoke from Leloup and Mustaju. Lina has a double damage, but they're not really choosing the right angle to go in on. The Creeper are up top on the hill. They're taking a wraparound. Okay, this could be bad for Thunder Toss. He's already high ground. I
Especially
don't think
since-
he expects this smoke.
Especially since
Oh,
with that
Leloup
setup
reveals
from
the
thing.
sleep goes down. The LSA is going to hit. Remnant falls, and the double damage. Thunder Toss, well, that was an anticlimactic finish. So generally,
No,
when
it's-
you sleep people, you want to surround them from all angles. And for some reason, Dean 4v6 all move, or sorry, 3 Throws Ahead all moved downhill. And so Thunder Toss just kind of ran the other way. Still, though, it seems that he ends up in an area where he shouldn't be. But they still get the kill, but Weaver gets a return kill. So your solo offlane Weaver is now already level 2, and you've traded their solo mid for your support, so you still end up ahead.
And looks like we got a counter gank from Gene 4v6 on Storm Spirit.
It seems like Lelouch is better prepared for this, though. He's walking forward. All right. No, I think he just saw Last Romantic. Yeah, Lelouch is playing it safe.
Sorry, just to interrupt, but double checking. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Both of you good?
Yep.
And, one of the reasons I think we don't see Death Prophet played a lot as a mid-hero is just the lack of an escape mechanism. No blink, no sprint.
Yep.
Just
She's a
manipulative
fast
balance.
hero, but she doesn't have a stun, and she doesn't have a way to get away after getting ganked. So even though she successfully walked away, she still ended up trapped in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and although Storm Spirit doesn't get a real ability to escape until level 6, you can get big rotations from the supports against Death
Oh no!
Prophet. And
Hold that thought. Last Romantic misses the stun.
Oh,
Oh. That is nice. That would have definitely killed Lelouch, and I think that Thunder Toss would have really liked to have that kill, since, well, he only has 5 CS right now, and Lelouch is at 8 and 4, so Lelouch is already pulling ahead. Thunder Toss is also, well, he's his bottle being delivered, but it's a walking courier. So right now, Storm Spirit's going to pull farther and farther ahead. So why don't we take a look at bottom lane? Let's see how Kuponis is doing on his Timbersaw, since last game with Weaver was, well, it was a bit of a disappointment.
well, it looks like he's going to be up against these 2 roaming supports that are both in lane now, and he's playing it pretty safe. I think Timbersaw's got a more... It seems like a less reliable escape mechanism, but it's one that's less counterable by the other team. He can use that hook and get out of there whenever he wants to, assuming he aims it properly.
Well, really, though, in the same way that net prevents Weaver from going invisible, you can actually lift Timbersaw out of his hook. I mean, it's hard, but
While he's
you're able to cancel it. So really, Couponis has to hold that hook until the lift has been used. And it seems like the lane is pushed up, and they haven't found the observer ward that Coupon placed. That is a nice blocking spot. So it seems
doesn't
like
look
right
like they're
now that he's
actually
just going to get a
looking
lot
for
of
it.
experience.
And we've seen supports from both sides heading towards the mid lane again.
Yep.
And it looks like they're both pretty determined to get their mid hero to win their lane.
Yes, both of these mid heroes are snowballing heroes. Death Prophet
Radiant's middle tower is
especially
under
needs a
siege.
good start to be able to group up and push towers. She needs items to be effective, and Storm Spirit wants a quick level 6. So placing more emphasis on the supports. Oh, hold that. Mandalore. Oh, Red Tooth gets a second kill. So what happened up top was that Mandalore on the Lifestealer was fighting Red Tooth, and then at the hit that it would have killed Red Tooth, he hesitated and then turned back around, which allowed Red Tooth to get off an additional hit. Had
And, you
Mandalore
gotta
not
give
turned
Mandalore
around,
credit.
Red Tooth would have died.
He did pop a salve in between Red Tooth's attacks to get him one more attack, but it wasn't quite enough. And if he had stuck with it, initially he would have gotten that kill.
Yep, and that's expensive. That's now two kills to a solo offlane Weaver. He's already level 6, not even 5 minutes into the game, and that's going to be an
Well,
issue.
Looks
This
like we
Bane
got a
has
gank
nothing.
coming in on the Timber Saw. But somehow, thanks to those wards, he's managed to sense it, and he's out of there.
Yeah, that's a. I think that ward doesn't see anything, but they still have the Dire team still has a ward on the river spot, so they were able to see that. So now Thunder Toss and Last Romantic are just kind of dilly-dallying around, while Couponis somehow makes his way mid.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy walk for him.
Lelouch is now level 6. He hasn't leveled his ultimate yet, though. Okay, there he goes. But now Storm Spirit's at the point where he's a lot harder to kill, and Lelouch, once he gets up, maybe tread. Let's look at him to start having an impact around the map.
He's saving for something.
He might be getting arcane boots. I noticed last game on Puck he got arcane boots, and that's not really a standard. Statistically speaking, Puck does best with treads, but that's professional games, right? Arcane boots are much more team oriented. So let's see what he's going for. He has 1,200 gold. Why don't we take a look at this, since we're hitting the 6-minute mark before the ganking starts. Let's take a look at how people are doing in terms of creep kills. Blazing Hand, you there?
Yes, sorry. So in terms of last hits and denies, it looks like Phantom Lancer's been having a pretty okay time farming in lane. He's hitting about 4 creeps a minute. He's got his Tranquil Boots, and he's building towards a drum. So it looks like we're not seeing Phantom Lancer assuming that this is going to go into the late game. He knows that they have, a snowballing hero. He wants to get some tank up.
Well, I mean, even if you're not going to the late game, the drum is just such an excellent item. He has mana problems, and it gives you the move speed. It makes your illusion stronger. It's not just necessarily about building early game items. Also, even if he just rushed a Diffusal Blade straight up, he would still die to the Timber Saw and Storm Spirit.
And it looks like what Storm Spirit was saving for was actually just a completed power treads.
Yep, okay, so going treads this time. Treads on Storm Spirit is smart, because even though a lot of his damage is magic-based, he still gets a lot of auto attacks in to do that damage.
And also, since he does drain his mana based on percentage for how far he moves, he wants more mana regen rather than just increasing his mana pool, though that still
Exactly,
helps.
and
as
power
well.
treads on intelligence give you mana regen, while arcane boots do not.
Yes, all they give you is max mana, which actually makes Ball Lightning go less far, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, because you don't have as much mana regen per mana point.
So let's take a look at we've looked at the Phantom Lancer, right? So let's take a look at the counterpart on Lifestealer. Mandalore does have a death to his name, which unfortunately set him back quite a bit. He was farming quite decently, but Weaver is a hero that can kind of, after he gets levels, just bully Lifestealer endlessly. Lifestealer
You got
can't
a
get close to
smoke
you, you
from
can just
3
run
throws
away,
ahead.
and your double hits hurt. But is Mandalore saving for a Midas? He's got a Gloves of Haste, and he could finish his treads if he wanted to. But I'm expecting more that he's going for a Midas. Alright, here comes a gank from the Bane, but Red Tooth is just hiding. Are they going to see him in the woods? Oh, he Shikuchis, but he's going to come out of invisibility. Nice hiding spot. A blind LSA maybe? Nope. Good escape from Red Tooth. Nice map sense to dodge that, since they didn't have a ward that... Oh, no, they did. Sorry. He was able to see that. And 2 sentry wards are placed. So that's a win for 4v6, and Red Tooth makes it out with his life.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was an
bottom
expensive
lane,
gank
bottom
because
lane.
they smoked in.
Oh, just kidding. It's just a push.
It was an expensive gank because they also smoked into that gank. So we're talking, 300 gold spent to not gank a Weaver.
Tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Ah. This Dire...
Dire's bottom
Nope.
tower
Okay,
is under
I thought something was
siege.
going on. It looks like that the first tower of the game is going to go to the Phantom Lancer, though he should hit the tower.
Dire's structure
Dire team is glyphing it right now, and TPs are coming in. It looks like this tower is going to get denied. Oh, Coupon's going for the kill, but here comes the Storm in from behind, pulling on Colin.
Dire's bottom tower.
Colin gets a lift, but I think he's still going to go down.
Dire's middle
All right, so the
tower
score is
under
now
siege.
3-2 in favor of 4v6, but 3 throws ahead is able to kind of equalize that a little bit. They're getting momentum, they got their tower denied, and Coupon is actually doing quite well. He's level 8, and he already has arcane boots as well. So this is definitely going much better than it was for him last game, where, what did he end the game on, like a 1, or I don't know, of 1 in 13 Weaver?
Yeah, he successfully managed to farm brown boots by the 18-minute mark. He's doing much better this game. Part of it is just, I think that, the tri-lane with Phantom Lancer, the supports have been mid a lot. There's been a big fight in trying to get that Storm Spirit kill, which hasn't been working out as well.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh.
missed a kill.
Weaver gets another kill, and with that, that's a completed medallion. The medallion on Weaver it's a good item because Weaver is often lacking for mana regen, and it does give him some survivability, right? And on the same
Yeah, and
time,
on-
you've got a
on top of
lot of
that-
squishy supports. Lena has 1 armor and 500 HP. Wait, Lena and Bane are... Lena's level 2,
They've been all
and
over
I'm
the
pretty
place.
sure that's another death from Mustaju. That's an
Yeah, with
infested
all that
creep.
roaming, they haven't gotten the experience necessary to really be survivable.
Oh, Lelouch is coming in.
Dire's top
And the
tower
Lifestealer
is
comes
under
back out. They do manage to take down the Death Prophet, and Red Tooth does get a time lapse off. But after he comes out of Shikuchi, Lelouch has mana for 1 more jump. So as I was just saying, like, poor Mustaju. Last game he was doing decently, but this game, it's 11 minutes in. He has no items. He might as well have just started
Literally
the game.
no items. Even worse, he doesn't even have money. He's
Yeah,
been
he doesn't have
purchasing
money
all
for
the
anything.
rewards,
He could buy
schooling
Branch.
consumables. You could buy a branch. You could also buy a mana potion. And Bane is a hero who actually
Oh,
needs more items than
Bottom
Shadow.
lane. We're seeing a dive on the Phantom Lancer. But Coupon doesn't have dust, so he's deciding to back off. But sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and Bane is a hero who really benefits from far more than Shadow Demon does. And that game too, he also managed to eventually get mana boots. I think it's also worth noting about the medallion on Weaver. Fight happening top, Weaver going after it. The medallion on Weaver is good because it also synergizes with the Swarm, which reduces armor by 1. So we're talking about a total armor reduction of 7.
Yeah, and that's really just, well, the Swarm actually does armor reduction per
Dire's
second,
middle
so it's
tower
1 per
is
second.
being attacked.
The
Oh,
Swarm is
really?
actually it's a great chasing spell because the longer it stays on you,
Dire's
it does
middle tower
damage
is
and
under siege.
it does damage and it reduces your armor, right? But if you stop to get rid of it, the Lifestealer can't. If you stop to get rid of the Swarm, then the Weaver's going to catch up to you even faster. And with that
And,
minus armor, Red Tooth is just able to bully the Lifestealer and get another kill on them. This is
Yeah, what
looking
we're seeing
this
is
is looking quite bad again for 3 throws ahead. Their Lifestealer isn't as hard of as a carry as the Phantom Lancer, who, despite having a death to his name, is, still going to be a Phantom Lancer later on. And the Weaver is going
Yeah.
to be big.
And unless they really try to gank Phantom Lancer and Weaver all game for the rest of the game, it's going to be tough to stop Weaver from running away with the game.
Yep.
I mean, right now we're looking at a level 10 Weaver against a team that has, like a level 2 Lena and a level 4 Bane on it. There's so much food for Weaver like out there on the map.
Exactly. In my opinion, what 3 throws ahead should be doing right now is, so their Bane and their Lena desperately need levels, and their Lifestealer is at a point where he would be more effective helping to gank than a Bane or Lena. In a sense, he could be using infest ganks with Storm. He could be using infest ganks with Timbersaw. 3 of those heroes could go around and let the Lena and let Mustaju at least get to boots, and let Leloup, get his ultimate. Loop is still level 2, and it's now 13 minutes in game. These 2 support heroes don't get any levels in farm, then they are going to be nothing but food.
And we've
Doesn't-
seen a rotation. We now see Phantom Lancer going top against the tri-lane on his own. And I'm wondering what the motivation behind this was.
Well, he's been bullied out of lane for a while by Coupon, and he already saw that Red Tooth was bottom. So, generally, I would move the Phantom Lancer back, but Red Tooth is your captain, so what he says goes, right? And Mizu, again, he doesn't have to get the best farm in the world, because the Dire team is not farming that well either. So it's a game of comparison, right? Phantom Lancer, as it gets naturally later, gets much more damage based on his agility, and is going to naturally get those items at a faster pace when more creeps start spawning. So as long as he's staying alive and getting experience and getting some gold here and there, then I would consider that a win. Red Tooth is diving. Oh, this could end poorly for Red Tooth.
What a pause.
He's got 9 wand charges though, so let's take a look at this. Tactical pause. You've got Coupon. If Red Tooth doesn't pop his stick charges, then Coupon's next Timber Chain will kill him. I don't think Coupon will be able to die in the time that it takes. So he already has 300 HP, and
There's 2 seconds to the next Timber Chain.
Yep. So I think that Red Tooth should be able to, if Red Tooth pops his stick charges, he may be able to kill the Timber Saw. So if he
can
doesn't
pop
pop
the
his stick
stick charges, and he'll have 2 seconds to kill the Timber Saw. Before Timber Chain's out of there. Timber Chain
is a great skill. Pure damage and very, very annoying.
If he pops the stick charges...
here we go. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Stick charges popped. Come on, what are you doing?
Where's the Timber Chain? Oh no!
So that was like kind of like giving up and dying.
Well, we've got Lelouch in there to avenge the death, but there's the rewind? What's it called? Time lapse?
Yep. Seems like he'll be just fine. That Lelouch burned a lot of mana, and that's a haste rune as well. So Lelouch, it seems like, is going for an Orchid again, but he's not too close. And like we said last game, the Lifestealer carry wasn't farming that well. The offlane was doing not that well. So it's going to be up to the Storm. But this game, Coupon's doing a bit better, so I hope that he and Storm will be able to have more of an impact. Man, this has just been a game for under-leveled supports. Last Romantic is level 4. Rubik is not 6. The Lena's 4, and the Bane is 5. But he still doesn't have boots, whereas both Rubik and... fight going down, and that's... Coupon is gonna die. Oh, the last hit gets him. But here comes the Storm Sphere. He gets a pull off on Thunder Toss, but he's got to back away from the Ghost. Lelouch should have just walked in with his Dragon Slave, but now he's getting chased by the Phantom Lancer. Another pull goes down, Musaju goes down. Ooh, this is not looking good for 4v6. Their Storm Spirit's out of mana, the Lifestealer, his Rage is on cooldown, and ooh. Red Tooth has taken this game over.
Yeah, and I think, it's not just that Lena doesn't have her ult. More than anything else is that Lena only has 600 hit points.
Yep, she was too scared to walk in. She could have just cast a Dragon Slave, right, on the low HP Last Romantic, but she was too scared to walk in, just because she was worried about, if I get stunned, I die instantly. Look at that range, man. I think it's like 1100. It's such a ridiculous move these days. This game is, again, not going that well. Let's take a look at the gold and experience, shall we? So the experience is a bit rockier. It's about 1500 in the favor of Radiant, which doesn't say too much, but you can see over the course of the last couple minutes that it's been spiking heavily. And Radiant's team with the Phantom Lancer and Weaver does go later than the Dire team as well. And on the gold, surprisingly, the Dire led early on through better farming. Coupon was keeping PL down, but now with that one fight, it's a huge spike.
And I think it's also worth noting that a lot of the weakness that we're seeing from the Dire side doesn't necessarily have to do with their team's goals, but the distribution. I mean, we have big fight middle.
Oh, by the way, yep. Oh, after that fight's over, Torrenhire just pointed out that the experience graph looks like 4v6's logo.
It does. Maybe this is a premonition from
Yep, this is saying that even though that Bane died and that Lifestealer has no farm and is not going to have an armlet for a while, that, actually he's close to his armlet. But perhaps this is 3 throws ahead coming back.
And like I was saying, I really think part of it also has to do with the distribution of the gold and the experience. We see Lita not comfortable even using her spells in the team fight because she gets that close and she just gets killed by the Weaver. I haven't seen a huge amount of ganking out of Nyx this game, which has surprised me.
That's because he's level 5.
Oh, right, yes. support.
He also
Nyx.
has no...
Yeah.
Wait, okay, this is something I have to criticize about. While there are occasionally times where you shouldn't get mana void or mana burn, you're against a Storm Spirit and a Timbersaw and a Lina and a Bane. These heroes have heavy reliance on mana, Storm and Timbersaw especially, right? And if you're not mana
And
burning
Timbersaw
them,
has
then
like, you know, Storm has like 70 int.
mana burn him once, and he's gonna take 350 damage.
Like, you only need one level anyways. I mean, and it'll be huge.
So I really disagree with Last Romantic's choice of not getting any points.
Yeah, the multiple levels in Spiked Carapace puzzle me.
Well, in some cases it's good, right? If you're anticipating going against a very AoE heavy lineup, having more
Or like
points in Spike
Bat
Carapace,
Rider.
yeah, it maximizes your stun duration. But Three Throws Ahead is more about kind of single target pickoff. They do have some AoE, but Bane is more of a single target hero. Lina's a single target hero for the most part. Storm goes on one person. Lifestealer goes on one person. So I don't really understand why he has so many points in Spike Carapace.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this was a misclick. 2 misclicks maybe?
Maybe. Misclicking 3 times in a row, though, if that's the case. Against a Timbersaw, you want to burn his mana in lane.
So there's that.
It seems like Lelouch just stole someone's tango off the ground, and then you're gonna get this tower. Radiant has a glyph, and it looks like this tower can be denied. Wonder if Thunder Toss will do so. Yep. Oh, but Storm, is Lelouch gonna try to contest?
It looks like he might try to blink in there and get the last hit on it.
So let's look at some carry item progressions while we're waiting on this kind of back and forth. So the Phantom Lancer on one hand, he's got his drum, and he's 2 Alacrity Blades into his Diffusal, so, you know, 2/3 of the way there, about. And on the other hand, the Lifestealer is an Armlet. The power progression going on this they're relatively the same net worth.
Weaver looks like he's saving up for a Butterfly.
Hard to say. If I had to guess, I would say it's more a Desolator. But if it were a Desolator, he would buy the Mithril Hammer
Could
first.
be Radiance.
A Radiance would be... I don't know. I wouldn't really like Radiance this game because he still only has 800 HP, right? If they do get a grip on him, or if they do get one LSA stun, he is going to die. I would say that if you're going to go offensive, get something that lets you do damage faster.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he's saving all that money for.
Clearly, buyback. He's trying to join the 10K club.
Right.
So it looks like the Storm's TPing top. They're trying to look for a gank on Redtooth. Do they have Dust? Storm does not. The Bane does not have boots yet. All right.
But he has a Sentry Ward.
Yes, but the problem is if you don't have boots, you're moving at 315 and the Weaver's moving at 522. That's just a waste of time. Now Lelouch, he's about 1,000 away from his Orchid though, so after he gets Orchid, it'll be easier for him to find ganks. But
Yeah,
as for
on
now,
top of that,
Weaver's
he'll be able to-
uncontested.
He'll be able to gank, the multiple invisibility heroes on 4v6.
Yep, and they do have 3 of them. It's surprising that, well, I guess with the supports being so poor, but once Bane and Lina start picking up more money, they should be buying wards.
Well, Nyx has finally hit 6 and is ready to use his first Vendetta.
At some point. Oh, I hear sleep going off. There's a sleep on Colin. Ghost go off defensively. And Last Romantic goes invisible. That LSA dodge. Thunder Toss may be in over his head. And he is going to go down. That might have been a slight overextension. He popped the Ghost to try to save Mizu, but after Mizu backed off, Thunder Toss ran in and somehow found his way behind the enemy tier 2.
And probably he figured, I had my Ghosts up, I'm going to see if I can pick up a kill here, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, or might as well try to get some damage on the tower, but I don't think he anticipated that large of a reaction from 3 throws ahead. And here, there's a pull going in mid lane. Colin does go down this time. Redtooth dodges the LSA, and
Redtooth does
Assassin
so
steals
much
it.
damage.
There's the
against
time
that
lapse as
low-
well. See, Redtooth right now is just completely uncontested. Lina missed her LSA. The Bane wasn't in like position to sleep. He was too far away. So Redtooth is just zip zapping and running around.
And at the same time, with that armor reduction, he's dealing so much damage, and through all of this, PL is just free farming. Nobody's contesting him. He's pushing down these towers.
So it does seem like he's going for Radiance. He just picked up the Relic. That is a 22-minute Relic on an off-lane Weaver. I would say quite decent. Compare him to his counterpart, he's doing much better. Couponess has had a decent game, but especially compared to the last. But he's not close to his Bloodstone. He's still more than 1,000 gold away.
Yeah, he's missing 2 components.
It's already 23 minutes, and his team's not doing well. Bloodstone as the
and
first
it's one
item is
thing-
great when you can
it's one
pick
thing
up the
to-
kills.
Yeah, it's one thing to get a
Here's a
Bloodstone
drain.
if you're...
They catch out Last Romantic. He goes invisible. Moostaju could have just walked in and brain sapped, but he didn't.
Yeah, Mr. Chu's been having a rough game. He's got his ground boots, though.
Does have boots finally, and I would like to see him pick up a TP score. Alright, Leloup goes down to the Ghosts, and Redtooth goes beyond godlike. Or as my Storm announcer would say, not holy shit.
Yeah, not looking like anything can really stop Redtooth at this point.
And
Coupon is
Coupon
getting
is
into
chain
fray.
stun, and he goes down as well. Now there's 3 dead. The Ghosts, well, the Ghosts are down, but I think Radiant can still afford to push. They've got,
Yeah, especially
they've
with
got
that
Death
PL
Pulse, which
with
is
the
just an
Diffusal
amazing spell.
Blade.
Or, sorry, Crypt Swarm.
Dire's middle tower is under
This game might be over quite soon. The team with the
Yeah,
better late game
like-
is
Dire's middle tower
pretty
is
far
under
ahead at
siege.
this point.
There's Storm Spirit with the Orchid pickup, but like the Bloodstone that Coupon S is eternally working towards, it's the kind of item you want to get early. You want to be able to use it a lot in the early game and help you snowball.
Oh my gosh, Last
And that
Romantic
hasn't
just
been what's
pops
happened.
his carapace. Good reaction time. Lelouch was about to use his Finnish Orchid to zip in and get a kill, and that would have been a kill, but right before Storm Spirit landed, Last Romantic was able to activate carapace and waddle away.
Yes, Carapace and Vendetta, actually.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, he can put that Vendetta to good use. Oh, I don't know. What do you think 3 Throws Ahead should be doing right now in order to try to pull themselves back into this game?
Boy, I mean, at this point, it's tough to say. They're not that behind in terms of kills. If you look at the gold graph or the EXP graph, they're 5,000 gold and 5,000 EXP behind. They don't
Oh.
have the same level of
Oh, that's a good start at least. Supanas
That
gets
was
a
good.
kill against the Phantom Lancer. Mizu tried to fight him straight up, but he didn't realize that he was dusted for a second.
I mean, I'm wondering if just trying to repeatedly gank the Phantom Lancer, maybe bringing Lifestealer into, some sort of Lifestealer, Storm Spirit bomb, Lifestealer. Nyx Bomb, I think, is probably going to be some sort of Nyx.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you for a second time, but what happened was Lelouch caught out the Weaver, and even though Weaver has Radiance, he still only has 1,000 HP. And, oh, Colin, no.
Dire's top tower is under
Has
siege.
Colin stolen a spell this game yet?
Is he 6?
He's level 10.
Oh.
I haven't seen a
Yeah,
spell
I don't
steal.
think I've seen him steal a spell this game. I wonder if he does what
Stolen
he does.
Vortex a couple times,
Oh,
at least
that is
once.
so bad. So, Storm Spirit died, bought back, and just died again. He
Dire's top tower
he was
That's
looking
rough.
at he was looking like in a good place, but well, now it's not so good.
Dire's bottom tower is under siege.
But yeah, really, at this point the deficit isn't at a point where I would say, oh, the Dire can't come back, but they have to really, really act as a team. Right now it seems more like 5 individuals. I haven't seen a single Infest gank. I haven't seen the Storm and the Timbersaw working together since they're both high mobility.
I would like to see Lifestealer get into Storm Spirit, and Storm Spirit and Timbersaw just roll up on Phantom Lancer and kill him.
Yep,
would
and I
like
was
to see
saying that from minute 10 when I was saying the supports need to get more gold. At this point, the Phantom Lancer is still killable, and those 3 do massive damage through inherent skills.
And the Phantom Lancer, I mean, we're still in the window where he can be killed. He's got 1,100 hit points. I mean, he deals some damage. He's got his Diffusal Blade, but he's still very killable. It certainly won't be easy, and he's playing very carefully. His teammates are supporting him. I think that's where they have to be right now. That's what they have to do. Weaver
Is just a big monster, but Weaver, he does go down. How is he? That was a Havost level dive.
That was...
Oh,
yeah.
Storm Spirit is gonna get mana burn.
That
He
was
is out
a
of
dive.
mana. And he's silenced as well, but it looks like he pops some
Colin
more
has
charges. He's gonna be okay.
he's gripped.
This is looking good. The Weaver's dead, it's already 2 down. The Death Prophet gets Yulesed up, and that's a 3 for none. Suddenly, Mandalore goes from having a poor start to being on a mega kill streak.
Dire's top tower tower
Yeah,
is
that's
And-
500 gold.
Yep, and that should complete Coupon's Bloodstone after this camp. He's probably gonna send the cur to the secret shop. Yep, he's got that 1100. So Mandalore's suddenly looking pretty decent. Lifestealer is not the hardest carry, but he does have some great fighting items right now in the Armlet and Basher. And it'll allow him to really focus down one person quickly. And there are still a lot of people that can get killed easily. Oh, hold that thought. Wow.
Yeah, even Phantom Lancer, he's only got 1,000 hit points.
And he just died to the storm again. This is a big turnaround. It went from being 17 to 9 to 20 and 6. The experience graph has almost dipped back down to 0, and the gold graph is kind of starting. It was plateaued for a bit, and then it shifted up in Radiant's favor. But now 3 throws ahead is really bringing it back.
Yeah, and if we can see more ganks like that, ganks with the Storm Spirit, we can see a comeback.
Yep.
I'm still
Storm Spirit
interested-
is
I
a
still
really
think
good
that-
semi-carry as well. He can do quite decently against Weaver because he can keep up with the bug's mobility.
Yeah, and until Weaver actually gets some kind of item that would let him stay alive, like a Lincoln Spear or something, he is killable.
Yep. Though really at this point, I think the Weaver just needs to get a BKB. He shouldn't be worried about the Lifestealer and the Timbersaw, Storm Spirit, Lena, and Bane. I mean, he can get gripped, but it's not going to be. He's not going to be in any danger of dying.
Storm
As of
Spirit's
now,
on
though,
the
you
Weaver.
see, I think he might be dead again. Red Tooth is getting pulled. That is yet another death. All right, but this. Oh, are we going to see a grip? No, we're not.
Yeah, not with the Death Prophet there to silence. Looks like an overextension a bit from Mizu here. But, he gets out of there okay.
I think he'll be fine. There's a Sentry Ward out, and he should be able to run away from it. So Thunder Toss may be going down. Oh, Mizu gets hit by Dust. If he goes back in, this is a bad idea.
Good infest from the Lifestealer.
Good infest, though. But, oh, no, that's not good. He's still chasing the Phantom Lancer as well, but I think Mizu will make it out okay, and the Death Prophet is very fast.
Where are you guys? I'm 29. I'm 30. 1, 2, 3,
Dang, you're
4,
ahead. Okay, so I
5,
was at 29.55.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Stop me when
Okay,
you got.
I'm caught
Okay,
up. I'm caught up.
cool,
I'm kind of...
cool. Carry on.
Thanks. So really, though, somehow this British internet is better than ours, because Blazing Hand, I think you and I have been relatively synced, but Firebolt is running on some sort of higher plane.
Yeah, well, Firebolt's computer actually, it's cooled with Freon, and it doesn't even really exist in physical space.
Oh, I
Hence
see.
into
So
that.
Firebreaker is the spirit. Firebreaker. Firebolt is the spirit breaker of computers.
Yeah, you could say that.
I'm actually gonna go
So
hang
Phantom
myself for that
Lancer's
joke.
banking almost 3,000. I'm gonna guess she's going for Butterfly also, and not another Radiance.
Actually, I would like to see a Reaver pickup. A Heart would make him very hard to kill.
That's true. What he needs, if he just had a few more hit points, I mean, he already has great damage output with that mana burn.
Yep, and he's going to... Wait, yeah, and he's going to only get more and more damage through his natural 4.2 agility growth.
Yeah, that was, what was his agility growth before they made it the highest in the game?
2.8, which was only relatively mediocre at that point for an agility carry.
Yeah.
Like, he was still great. And then after it went to 4.2, suddenly he could build mostly defensive items and then still be the biggest bitch in the world. And hold
Looks
that...
like Tim.
Oh, does Timbersaw have Dust? No, he doesn't. I think Coupon's going for Blade Mail next. If you look, he's already got the... Yep, he's one component away from finishing a Blade Mail. So that's going to be a gigantic disruption, since that's 800 damage worth of HP to reflect upon people. And Radiant Team isn't tanky.
Yeah, and I think Storm Spirit's going to be building towards a sheep, but I don't really... I mean, I imagine that's what the ultimate order is for.
Most likely. I would like to see a BKB, considering he keeps getting stun locked down by both the Rubik and the Nyx. In particular, Mana Burn has been hurting him, since Lelouch has been using a lot of long-distance jumps, and that takes up a lot of your mana. And then when Mana Burn takes away another 500 mana... Oh, you cheeky bastard. Last Romantic just stole the haste rune from the storm.
Yeah, when you're walking up to a haste rune and you know there's a Nyx out there and it suddenly just disappears, that's gotta smart.
Yep, pretty much get out of there. But let me just finish my thought. So basically, I really think that instead of a Hex, Lelouch should be getting getting a
Couponus
BKB.
gets
Right now,
silenced.
he needs a way to stay alive. He's initiating, he's getting a kill, but then he gets stunned and mana burn, and he's out of mana, and it's not good to trade that. Couponus goes down. Meanwhile, a fight broke out, and now Gene 4v6 seems to be taking a. Okay, I have no clue what's going on. Everything's dying. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Everybody's gonna die but Lelouch.
Oh!
And I mean,
Oh, the LSA.
Dire's bottom
Actually, I think
tower
Lelouch is.
under attack.
Oh, Red Tooth guesses the wrong way, but he's still got the Radiance burn. But you see, this is what I'm meaning by mana burn. He jumps in. He has 1,000 mana. He jumps in. He's got 500 left, and he's got what? 100 and he's almost got 120 intel. That's 600 mana. All right, Firebolt, quick check. What time are you at? Torn
27, 28, 29, 30,
Torn
31.
Higher, stop typing me because I can't get the. No, stop typing. I can't get. I.
I had
Wait,
that
no,
problem too.
I'm at the right time then.
Okay.
3341, 2, 3.
Torn higher. You typing to me means that I can't actually find the speed bar.
This seems to be accurate. I
I'm
thought
at
we
So
were
it
off.
looks like
33:45
Phantom
right now.
did in fact go for a Reaver.
I'm 55,
Let's see how that
56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Well,
All
And
right.
here's Storm
I'm
Spirit.
good now.
Going for the Phantom Lancer. There's
silences the ogre though. That ogre is silenced.
Oh, Lelouch, no!
Oh wow.
Oh, he's out of there.
Lelouch makes it away on like 10 HP.
I liked how he silenced the ogre as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of, have you guys seen the Ogre Magi gank?
Yes, I have.
Oh, it's so good. Ogre Magi
What is
just
it?
showing up. He was silencing it to make sure Ogre Magi didn't stun him.
Right. You can never tell.
You can never tell when randomly you're farming a neutral camp and it actually turns out to be an enemy hero. Oh, Weaver might have overextended a bit there, and now he's
Yeah,
gonna pay
and-
for it and get Last Romantic killed as well in the
And with
mix.
that Hyperstone and Skull Bastard, we're starting to see Lifestealer get back into it a little bit with farm. He can't, he can't go head to head with PL at this moment, but he's in the ballpark. And are we seeing a Roche attempt?
It does seem like it, though. I wouldn't say that 3 throws ahead. They don't have a medallion.
Radiant knows that.
They don't have a
that's going on,
Desolator,
right?
so it's not going to be the fastest Roche attempt. But with 2 heroes dead, I think that Gene 4v6, even though they've seen it, is going to let this go.
They can't afford to contest it.
Yep. Oh, actually, pure damage is quite good. If you look at the Chakram, it's doing very decent damage to Roche.
Roshan has fallen to the dawn.
Storm Spirit going for the Aegis. And a big pickoff on Death Prophet's in progress. Oh, Death Prophet's so
yep.
fast.
She was a bit out of position right.
With
but-
Yule's face boots in her passive, Death Prophet's moving at 500
500
with the
move
phase
speed?
active. Yeah.
No, I remember when I started playing Dota, like I would try to run away from Death Prophet all the time, and I never could, and these ghosts would just be following me. And whoever I was playing against didn't even use his other spells, he just kept laughing and following me with ghosts, and I felt so sad. Okay, and Dust is used on a bunch of PL illusions.
Oh,
But-
you never know.
The issue is still that Mizu is at this point probably about, 800 away from Heart, and once he gets that, it's really hard to kill Phantom Lancer with Heart,
He has
even
Heart.
dealing with his illusions.
But yeah, the Phantom Lancer illusions themselves are scary when they have that much hit point.
Okay, finally, at 36 minutes, we see Timbersaw. We have Couponus picking up a gem. And this is going to be very, very useful. It'll let them de-ward, remove the ganking paths, and deal with those 3 pesky and invisible heroes.
Yeah, and I wonder if Couponus is really the best person to be carrying this when we have a Storm Spirit with an Aegis.
Well, the Storm Spirit doesn't have slots, right? He doesn't want to get rid of his bottle because he's still at the point where runes can play a big impact. He doesn't want to get rid of his wand because he needs to generate mana in a burst. And he has an Aegis, so he has no room to carry a gem. But it has to go on Coupon. Also, in fights, Coupon S is dying less than the Storm is. In recent fights, I mean. Coupon had 3 deaths early on. But it's just statistically harder for him to get killed.
Radiant's bottom
So I think the gem on the Timbersaw is the right idea.
In the meantime, it looks like PL's gonna go down. Good Fiend's Grip.
Good Fiend's Grip. And
Dire's middle tower is under
that's
siege.
actually very nice chaining of stuns. They had to use everything to kill him, though. So that just
And they're
shows what the
teleporting back
power
to
of a
save the T2 top.
answer is. Now they should be able to defend that tier 2 as well.
Radiant's bottom tower
Coupon
is
can
being
see Red
attacked.
Tooth.
You don't even play, do you?
Oh, he should be able to get out of here. What was stolen? Rubik just stole...
Hook.
Oh, he stole Timber Chain. I've actually never seen Rubik use Timber Chain. I wonder if he has a custom animation. You know how Rubik has, like, he sits on his broom when he fireflies, and when he charges, it looks funny. Oh, poor Colin. Poor Colin.
Good stuff. Now we'll never know.
Now we'll never know. Damn it. Why do you have to do this to us, Lelouch? And they're still chasing this Weaver, but I think Redtooth is going to get out of there just fine.
14, 15, 16, 17,
How do you keep
18.
getting so
I
far
don't know.
ahead?
I really don't know. Have I got it on
I'm still
2
at that
times
time.
speed?
All right, I'm at 22 now.
And
You were
there
just
goes
like
the
4
Aegis.
seconds ahead of me, but
Oh wait, Aegis was lost. Somehow.
I'm missing it. Oh.
And we've got 3 minutes to the next Roche.
Please
Or no, 3
implement
minutes until the Aegis explode.
group replay viewing thing.
Valve, please. Actually, I'll just email them after this.
Email them about it. Like get them to implement it by next week for the next broadcast.
I'll just write a really long ranty post on Reddit. That gets things done, right? That's how it works.
No, I'll just spam the Valve employees that I have that are online right now.
I'm sure they'll love that.
Of course.
So Storm Spirit's saving up for something big. He's got 3.4k. I thought he was going for a sheep. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he wants the buyback.
He's still like 200 gold short, so he's probably gonna look to farm that and then go pick up the sheep.
That makes sense.
At this point in the game, it's like not as
Lincoln
imperative
Sphere
that he has
recipe.
buyback. He's gonna probably sell his bottle. Oh no, he's not. He's going for Lincoln Sphere.
I guess he wants to use that to block the mana burns.
I really don't like this choice though, because like Mana Burn is on such a short cooldown, and Phantom Lancer's like the lance is on a short cooldown as well.
There are a lot of also kind of like crap single target spells he doesn't really care about, like the Rubik Nuke or the Phantom Lancer Q, that wouldn't really stop him that much.
Yep.
That
And
could
it's just
stop
a
that
bit of a
Lincoln
slow.
Sphere.
So I think that would have been better if you picked up a Hex, because right now they're winning solely through the power of picking off ganks, right? Lincoln Sphere isn't going to help him that much in team fights, given what we just talked about. But a Hex will be able to put the Phantom Lancer out of the fight for 3.5 seconds, shut down the Weaver completely, and that Weaver is still very killable, as we've demonstrated.
And if they're trying to get pickoffs, I mean, you can use that Hex for that too.
Yep, the Hex. Hex is one of the most favorite items in the game because of that. In Dota 1, a lot of tournaments banned multiple Hexes, as in you could only have, I don't know, 2 or 3 on a team at most, just because the item was considered that good.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Lifestealer's got his Abyssal Blade.
This lifesteal,
So-
I mean, Mandalore, like he hasn't really made any flashy plays, but he's been quietly kind of getting back into it. Started out with
And-
3 deaths to his name,
It's
and
worth
now he's
noting,
10-4-1.
Check the graphs. Actually, Dire is now ahead in terms of both gold and experience.
Oh wow, they are very far ahead. They're 12,000 ahead in experience. But as you know, you
Fiend's Grip
can't count
on,
cancer out. That's a
Life
Fiend's
Stealer
Grip.
gets
They
focused
put a
down
Fiend's Grip
quickly.
on Redtooth, but Mustaji
Big
might have
life
jumped the
cycle.
gun a bit early. The Abyssal Blade goes in. Mandalore gets burst down. Oh, but that is a 4-person LSA. Look at that.
I think we're out of sync again.
But PL is still alive. Storm is dead. The,
25,
Lifestealer's dead. The
26,
Timbersaw's dead.
27, 28,
That's where I am.
29, 30. Flamewheel, make sure
Oh.
you're not on half speed or something.
I'm on 1% speed, but I really don't know.
And Phantom Lancer now has the gem, got a heart, and just sort of pushing up mid. Don't think they can stop him with just Vayne and Lina.
Yeah, especially since Fiend's Grip is down. They do still have Laguna Blade,
There's
but
Timbersaw.
Phantom Lancer doesn't care.
Yeah, and Phantom Lancer is pretty huge. I mean, he just has a lot of levels. That gives him a lot of agility.
We see the Knicks picking up a Dagon now. I wonder who's going to be the first target. Laguna Blade goes on. Colin survives. Oh, Colin, you should have turned around and stolen that. But I guess you don't have the mana. This is looking bad for Dire Team. We were just talking about how far ahead they were, and then one bad fight, the Lifestealer jumped in too early and got absolutely massacred by PL Illusion. Ghosts.
Yeah,
Stormsphere
and we
jumped
still
in
haven't seen
and got
a Nyx
caught by
bomb.
Nyx Stun on his way in. Mana Burn to remove the rest of his mana, and then just instantly died.
And we still haven't seen that Nate's bomb on the Storm Spirit. I mean, if the Storm Spirit, he overdid the jump. If he had a Nate's inside him,
It might have gone better, because that way the Nikes can choose his entry, right? Like, you can jump out and rage immediately and thus not ever get caught.
Yeah, so I think there was some lack of coordination. Like, maybe they didn't know they were going in. The TeamSpeak server wasn't working well. Something. But
Yeah.
it didn't feel like the right hand didn't know what the left was doing at the start of that fight. Because clearly they wanted to fight. They were gathering at their tower. They were all hanging out, and the Storm Spirit jumped way ahead of everyone. Nobody was in position. The fight fell apart.
Yep, and also, I mean, I'm not actually sure how the Lifestealer got locked down, because guns weren't used on him, and he did have rage on, so... Actually, it might have been the case where... I don't know what Rubik had stolen, but he might have stolen, like, Fiend's Grip or something. Or he might have stolen Nightmare after that. So I'm guessing it might have been Fiend's Grip, because Bane used Fiend's Grip early on the PL and wasn't able to get away from it. Okay, so yeah, Rubik stole Fiend's Grip.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. Rubik still has the Fiend's Grip, too. So and that's off cooldown. It's ready for another fight.
Probably just click on Colin more. I kind of don't, because I just anticipate him dying within the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, but it looks like he actually managed to live through a fight, so he has a spell. Pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. Actually, again, I don't think I've seen Rubik. I've never paid attention to Rubik using Fiend's Grip. Does he wiggle his arms in the air like Bane?
I think he like does that thing where he looks like he's laughing or something, or like spitting something into the air, and like wiggling.
I really think that this here is just so well designed.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, also Rubik has different casting animations and times for different spells. Like, you know how Earthshaker's Q has this huge windup? Rubik has no such windup.
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of the big benefit to using Rubik. Like, another spell you can steal, Split Earth. He pretty much has an instantaneous cast point, so
Really?
you don't have to use that delay.
Wow.
Basically, the rule is that Rubik, if he uses a spell, it's probably better than you using this.
I guess he is a Grand Magus.
Randomigus.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So,
right now, like, I think
Yo, Roche is about to come back up. I suspect.
the
that's
next fight should be at the Roche pit, because whichever
Yeah.
team gets Roche will probably be able to win the next, or the fight after that as well.
Tower is being attacked.
Yeah, and Dire is one fight away from losing Rax, so they really need this Roche to be able to push.
And at the
safely.
same time, though, Dire can push quickly enough that they can also threaten Rax, so it's going to be a pretty tumultuous fight. Radiant team is already grouped around the Roche pit, and it looks like they're going in. Dire no.
doesn't have.
While
a
they're
ward.
walking over there, they're smoked, but
They must know something's up.
but really what the Storm Spirit should be doing is dropping remnants for vision. Okay, well, Coupon just gave it away.
Yep.
And here comes this, and the Lifestealer just used
And
his
where's
rage
the
to
Storm
run
Spirit?
away. He could have actually just flat out killed somebody.
Lena goes down so quick.
I think the Lifestealer is also gonna die. He's trying to battle against the PL, but he can't fight the illusions.
And that was just horrible. Streamed in one by one. Bad retreat. That's just tough.
Thunder
He's not
Toss
gonna
though,
get a death
may have
tower.
overextended a little bit.
PL illusions instantly die, of course, when they try to attack Roche.
Yeah, Roshan kills illusions in one, like, as in before they even get attacks off, right? It's part of his armor of the immortal or whatever that spell is.
Yeah, he's got some thing where he's like immune to. He has like a Lincoln Sphere that also does that.
No, the Lincoln Sphere is just like a Lincoln Sphere. It blocks one targeted spell.
There's a Radiant Courier sort of flying around in the fight now.
Just witnessing its people killing things.
Yeah, Radiant. I'm gonna say Dire overextending, dribbling in one by one, and getting picked off in this attempt to defend Roche. Not going very well for them. And with Storm Spirit not able to buy back for a minute, I mean, boy, I think
Gonna be a PL Roche.
Weaver's got the Aegis.
Oh, Weaver. I guess at this point the PL feels he doesn't want to drop his TP scrolls, maybe. All right, Firebolt time check. 47-18.
21, 22, 23, 24.
Okay, so
Carry
you're a
on.
second and a half ahead. I've sped up and now I'm good. All right.
Anyway, so Colin's got the Blink Dagger now. He's ready to move all over the place. And we see a second gem coming out from the Dire side.
Well, it makes sense, right? The gem, I think like after they bought the gem, they were able to get so many kills off the back of that. Because first off, the Radiant wasn't
Yeah.
expecting it.
And they
then
need that
second,
gem.
they actually were able to group up and use their collective stuns. Like that one kill on bottom lane with the PL, they got Fiend's Grip into LSA, into Timbersaw with Storm Spirit pull, and then Orchid. They still barely killed him though, so I guess cancer still.
Dire's top tower is under
So it looks like at
siege.
this point, Dire's just defending and waiting for that Aegis to run out. Smoke's going on to Storm Spirit, though. Will we be seeing something interesting?
This is probably going to be a desperation smoke. Also, Lelouch just wasted half of his mana jumping out. All right, there's the first Storm Spirit aggressive infest.
This could be good.
Dire's top
This could be
tower
good, but
is
at the
being
same time,
attacked.
like, oh, maybe they're just going to smoke pick off the courier. They're looking for a wraparound. They might run
There's
into it.
Courier.
Get the courier! Get the
Dire's
courier!
top tower is under siege.
They're looking for something bigger than that.
There's nothing bigger than couriers, man. You get the courier, that's
That's
an
why they're
automatic
giving
one
up their
thing.
racks for whatever they're doing, though. Oh, there goes the smoke.
Okay, so they're going to lose racks without anything happening.
That was, well, good infest, I guess.
They also
Yeah.
didn't use glyph. Oh. That was
Rubik's got brain sap. Weaver's coming back up.
I'm just still amazed that they did a full wraparound, didn't kill the courier, didn't use their glyph to save their racks,
And it looks like they lost the fight on the other
and
end
they're
of it,
losing
too.
the fight as well.
Though the Nate's buyback could change things.
Oh, Thunder Toss. You silly person. But luckily he gets healed by his ghost at that time.
Three throws ahead now, down a set of racks. And up against a Phantom Lancer with a Diffusal, a Butterfly, and a Heart.
It's not that bad, really.
That's true. I mean, their Nakes, he's got an Abyssal.
No, I was being sarcastic. That's really bad.
It's bad enough that they're GGing, it seems.
Lelouch
It
also
could be
just
worse, though.
Lelouch
Phantom
just
Lancer
uses
could
all his
also
mana
have
and
a mana.
dies. That's the GG, yep. And that's game 2, so these games have been both have been a bit back and forth, but in the end, 4v6 sponsored by Gene and TL Plus take the victory. And that's a 2-0.
I will say, I think Three Throws Ahead drafted much better this time than they did the last game.
Yeah, it was a much more balanced draft. They might not have executed well with their supports being so poor and not taking advantage of 3 high-mobility ganking heroes, but it's a learning game, and again, this isn't TI3.
Yeah, I think that they had a lot of opportunity in their gank. They had 2 heroes who went well with the Nakes. They had 2 supports that worked well together. They did more of the rotation, but when it came down to it, when your supports are that poor and Weaver can just feed off of them that much and basically take over the mid game, then hand it over to PL.
The
they
Weaver
did
going,
have a
holy
shot.
shit, like 15 minutes into the game, or 25 minutes
Yeah.
into the game.
Right around when Nakes had his Basher and his Armlet, Storm Spirit had his silency damagey guy thing, and Timbersaw had his heart. Not his heart, the other thing.
Bloodstone.
You know, the Bloodstone, yeah. Right around then, they made a comeback of sorts, and I think that ultimately they didn't use the Nakes bomb enough. They were uncoordinated as they went into and came out of team fights. They had a couple of times where they lost people retreating, or some of them went in and out the other half. Some team cohesion issues that caused them to not really be able to take advantage of that sort of a gap between, like, basically Weaver bought a Radiance instead of like a useful item, and that gave them a window and they weren't able to take advantage of it.
Well said, yeah. I mean, the Radiant still left Weaver with 1100 HP, 1400 HP at like 40 minutes in. He was getting solo killed by Storm Spirit. The Timbersaw was killing the PL. At one point, right before those 2 disastrous fights that precluded the Roche fight, I mean, Dire was up by 10,000 experience, right? We think we were talking about that briefly.
Yeah, and like 5,000 plus gold. Dire was way ahead at one point. And I think they didn't engage properly, they didn't disengage properly, and just due to lack of coordination in the team fights, this advantage that they'd gotten basically because Weaver went for a Radiance rather than something that tanked him up a bit.
Or even just a straight damage item, right? Like, again, Radiance isn't a do damage quickly item. It's a burn you over time. And
Yeah.
Dire's team is just basically, if we catch you out of position, we're going to kill you.
I think if they had better team fight, I don't think they lost until they lost those 2 team fights. I guess is what I'm
No,
saying.
no. I agree with you definitely. Those two team fights, Rubik stealing Fiend's Grip was good. As I've been reading a bit of the thread, and it says K God, which is not Kurokai, but Colin.
Right.
So I guess that wraps it up for our first series, and I enjoyed watching those games. They were somewhat what I expected.